Hey everyone, thank you. Thank you for your patience. Technical difficulties. We have a lot of information to cover tonight. There's several different topics on the agenda, so let me call the meeting to order. This is the open board of directors meeting for Thursday, February the 15th. It is now 8:37. Thank you for your patience. We will begin tonight with introductions, and we will start on the management and legal side.
I'm Nick Shaftry, I'm your resident operations manager.
Hi, I'm Mary Veal, executive assistant to your general manager.
Arnold Calabrese, your election coordinator.
John Hay, legal counsel.
Dorothy Wozniak, general manager.
Justin Mack, director at large.
Richard Vasquez, director, Tower 3.
Soheila Koper, Tower 2.
Wade Weston, Tower 3 president.
Joe Purcell, director. Mike Scribio, director, Tower 2.
Richard Miller, director, Tower 1.
We have two people on the phone tonight.
Richie, you're up.
And
Brian, director at large.
so all members are present and accounted for. Thank you. The first agenda item for tonight is the approval of the open meeting minutes for January the 18th, 2018.
Make a motion to approve the open board minutes, January 18, 2018.
The motion's been made. Is there a second?
I said,
The motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
I make a motion to table the approval of the open board minutes for January 18, 2018.
The motion has been made to table approving the open board minutes. Is there a second to table the motion? The motion was made and seconded to table the motion. All those in favor to table approval of the minutes, raise your hand or say aye.
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 Brian?
Aye.
All those opposed? All those abstaining? The motion carries. The next item on the agenda is report and remarks. On that, I'm up first. So first of all, thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it. And I'll thank and convince all those who view on YouTube. As we're finding out through data results, more and more people are actually viewing the meeting on YouTube later than are actually attending. So I appreciate that, and I'm glad we're making that available so everyone can see and take part visually anyway, and at least hear what's going on if they're not able to attend. So first of all, I'd like to remind everyone we have elections coming up the first of next month. The first week of March, there are the weekly updates, all that information and where it's going to be in the Spa Lounge, and all the updates are available there. So please, everyone, participate. It's an election of the board. There's 3 members. These are the at-large directors for this, and all that information is available to those who want to have it. It's in the weekly update. Next, I want to address a couple of issues that were brought up and have been circulated, and I've had people contact me and ask me about them, so I'm going to address them as to the entire community so that there's not misinformation, and I'm going to address them in a non-political way. There was an issue with a mold issue that was circulated to several owners in some of the events here. I will tell you the issue has been addressed by the board previously. Not only by the board, but by all the proper engineering firms. The work was done. Some additional work was done. There's some pending issues with that. We don't know the extent or the complete conditions, so the board will be talking tonight and entertaining, engaging an engineer firm to come and evaluate and then report back to us, not only as the board, but as a community, the extent and the necessity to remediate or evaluate further and the proper actions taken. So that was brought to our attention. It was an isolated incident at the time. We're going to commission an engineer to come in and study it and look at it and figure out whether it is still isolated incident or it's a broader issue that needs to be addressed. When we have that information, we will bring it back and speak about it here. The next thing is there was some information put out about a conversation between the town for holding cells and a courthouse going into the mall. I can tell you that conversation has not happened at a board level at all. There is no conversation that has been discussed with us or with management about any approval for any of that to take place. So that conversation at this time has never happened at the board level. And I don't think I have heard any directors support it or say that that will happen. So at a board level, that has not been discussed. So any of that information is not supported by any documentation at a board level. The last thing, or there's two more things I want to talk about tonight. One I think is extremely important for the community to be aware of, which we talked about briefly at the last meeting, which is now in place, which is Building Lane, which is an operating system for the Galaxy, which we've never had before. It's a uniform operating system. It incorporates what most standard business practices today incorporate, which is an operating system which links in work orders, purchase orders, inventory, work hours, accountability of all our facilities, of all the maintenance. You can actually go online now and log in and create a work order for work you require in your apartment. It's all digital. There's no what time I called, who I spoke to. You log the request in, it's logged into the system. The system will track how long it's been open. It'll track who is assigned to the work order, when they report that they were at your unit, when they report the hours were completed. The work hours will all be logged and maintained digital. So once you log your request, it is in the system, and the management and the department is all accountable. The staff has been trained on it. The front desk has been trained on it. Two key parts of it that are in play right now are the key track system, which we had before expired. The new drawers, the new system is in place. You cannot remove keys from the door without a signature. There's some biometric information that has to be reported also. So it's a much more effective system. We've been working on getting this up and in place for months. It's in place. I will tell you, it is a very expansive system. There's a lot of other information that we can use in this system that is not there. It will become there. The administrative resolutions and the policy resolutions will be updated and will be uploaded into there. Once some more of that information is done, we will schedule a meeting with all of the owners. It probably a resident meeting so that it's not just owners, because this is for everyone who lives here, and certain parts of it are for all residents who come into the building. You will notice that the monitors that have been on the wall in the lobbies for the last 2-3 years that were just blank monitors now are working. As far as the format that goes into what information is up, we will develop that. I welcome everyone, the board welcomes everyone's input as to what they're seeing and how they read it. We obviously just implemented, there's no gold ticket to launching this as far as what we all want to see and how we want to see it. We all have preferences about what we want on there, what we don't want on there. So please, as you see it and it comes up, let us know how you feel about it. Let us know if there's other things you want to see on there. There's a wealth of information available. I was on there today myself personally. You can update certain information into there. You can edit on what you want the building to have access to as far as your personal information and what you don't want the building to have. So what's in there now is what was on file. There's other additional information available to give in there as far as your contact information, emergency contact information, if you want that to be available to the building. If you are in a situation where you could be exposed and you're the only one at home and they don't know who to contact, you can put all that information in there. Once you log in with the information that's provided, you can update all of your personal information, edit it, and do that. And there's some information available for our handout about that tonight too. I guess the last thing, well, two more things that I want to talk about tonight. I think it's important to make an announcement that we have made an announcement in the past, and I wanted to update the information that the mall litigation is over. We are waiting to negotiate the settlement, but we no longer have a pending suit from the mall against the GTCA. Which is huge. It's taken a long time to get there. We're going to reset that whole thing and renegotiate our relationship with the mall. But that is gone. The last thing I wanted to tell you is, since I've been here and since we started 2 times ago, we had the first owners meeting. The owners What's Up Galaxy, and then the second meeting. And something that I've heard even before I was on the board was about windows in the Galaxy and the poor shape of the windows. We have reached out in the past 60 days, 90 days, we have began negotiating with, just talking to a few different manufacturers. You'll see behind me here is the first sample. There will be many more. I just wanted to let you know that I did hear what everybody said at What's Up Galaxy about windows and getting them replaced. And there's a whole discussion about who's responsible and all that. We'll continue to do that, but we're not stalling the process. This is the first one. Skyline Windows has brought a physical sample of the first option. I'm not going to go into anything about it. I'm just letting you know that there will be more. We're not going with one manufacturer. And then we'll go to the second step of after we select. There'll be the formal process, the same thing that we went through with the hallways. So it's only, we just started reaching out. There are going to be more and more samples. We just started the process, so we did hear people asking for windows. There's a lot. That's a big project. It's going to go on for a long time. That's it. That's what I have as far as what we're working on right now. The next would be the treasurer controller report. Yes, we did. We talked about what we've never spoken about this.
Don't tell me. And we didn't look at it at the something that
We
it was
didn't
in the
even
agenda.
hear about this at the meeting.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
No, it is,
Say
but
something.
there are board members here that weren't even talking about
That
it.
is the first time I'm seeing this, and I didn't know this is going to be on the agenda.
This was not discussed at the previous meeting. And we
It's not an agenda item. I said something about it.
I know.
It's not an agenda item. We're not voting on it.
You should get
talking about politics.
Where did you get the windows here?
Okay, wait.
Talking about politics.
Where the window sample comes from?
This was not discussed at the previous meeting.
I told you.
Not discussed
Santa
at
Claus.
the board meeting.
We're not
with
talking-
no notice. Without notice. This is the kind of stuff that we're.
Okay, so we're moving on to the next item.
We didn't even know the sample was
Is this
here.
not a good idea? Really?
No, it's about information and proper notice.
Let's catch up. Let's catch up. Come on, come on.
We've spoken about windows for months.
We didn't discuss this. No, we did not.
Wait, there's a difference between speaking about it, thinking it's a good idea. Everybody says
We're
windows
board
would be
members.
great.
3 board
And the
members
board
are never
decided,
informed of anything.
raising their hands to say,
You know.
yes, let's pursue it.
so much, it wouldn't be a problem.
Let's pursue it. Now,
So we're gonna move on.
maybe your predecessor before, I don't know, that's how you
That's all.
Who sent that sample? Did you contact
It's
someone?
not the
Oh, I know. 3
Wait,
board
you
members
guys
here
are having-
that did not know about this
It's
whatsoever.
I didn't know about it either.
That's what we go through all the time.
Director
This happens all
No matter how
the
good an
time.
idea it is, we go through it all the time.
The president did not do that.
If you're not people, okay,
Jordan was
There are
asking
3
the
board
wrong
members
question.
here that are excluded from.
That's not true. That's not true.
No, you always
That's not true.
accuse everybody of lying. You
Chairman,
always-
Chairman, Chairman,
Let us
Chairman.
speak.
No, yes, Mike.
This is
Chairman,
not
please,
right.
please, come,
This is
excuse me,
people running. Let us finish.
a little decorum here, please.
Yeah,
Please,
yeah,
a little decorum.
Yes,
You want the audience to be in order and you can't control your house?
I'm sorry, wait.
Can I?
Windows are.
I was
We can't, if we
I
can't
was
do this
acknowledged.
with proper decorum.
I was acknowledged. Can I speak now,
Yes.
please, without someone yelling out? I just want to let it be known that, there's no surprise here. There's an election coming up.
Has nothing to do.
Right.
Excuse me, I have the floor. I have the floor. You can have it
You
after
grab the
that.
mic.
Okay, but there's an election going on here. But it's not always this 3, that 6, that 9. The very first time I found out about these windows was when I walked in the door. Okay, so it's not just 3, Rich.
No,
It's
good,
not
I'm
3.
glad you're saying.
Okay, it's not just 3.
Excuse me,
It's my
wait,
turn. I have the floor. I have the floor, please.
Correct.
Please. The windows are fabulous, though. Did you look at them? The potential of having new windows here is incredible. So someone decided to bring some windows down to let us view them. I suggest everybody, after the meeting, come up and look at the windows.
They're 8
I'm
years
gonna
old.
go and look at them myself as well, for the very first time.
We didn't want
Okay.
those 8 years ago.
Well,
They
you're
were 8
not
years
permitted to
old.
scream out. Can you control yourself, Luke?
No, I can't.
You know, if she can't control herself, can we have her removed, please?
Yes.
Because I don't have patience.
There is a process,
There is a
and please
process.
respect the process. This is a board of directors
I
meeting.
can, yeah, if
Not
someone
a
has
valid
a habit of
contest.
disrupting the
My
meeting, they
opinion,
can
yes.
be removed.
They can
Okay?
be, if we can't,
Yes,
remain in
please,
court.
security, if we get
You
screaming
cannot
out here,
touch a homeowner.
can you control
Mike,
your
no
tongue?
one is in
cannot.
touch.
I can see
Homeowner is
this.
sacred.
I can see this. I can see this. I can see this. Okay, that is all I have. I really love the opportunity of looking at a new product that could be beneficial to the galaxy. And you know what, whether or not it's the first time, it's the very first time I've seen it. And I welcome new ideas. Let's keep politics out of it, please. Come on, he's getting old. Thank you. No, it's good for the chair.
Justin was next to be asked, Justin was next to be asked to be recognized. Richard Miller, I will recognize everyone. Justin asked to be recognized.
Wade, my name is Justin Mack. Thank you very much, Wade, for recognizing me. I was just as surprised, I guess, as everyone else on the board when we walked in and we seen these windows. And I really think that it's a great thing that you have a board president that's actually working to address the issues that the galaxy needs. And I can't believe that we'd be berated for doing something that's good for the community, but I believe that it was actually part of your opening remark, and as a sitting board president, you have the right to say anything that you want in your opening remarks, and I applaud you for bringing in a sample to show the homeowners something that you're working on. Listen, every board member is welcome to have a side project that they think that they want to bring to the galaxy, and we come together as a board and vote on those things. I've had some ideas, other members have had some ideas, and that's how it works. It takes 9 people to do this. Not one person can do everything. And I just really applaud you, Wade. Thank you very much for doing this, and I just want to let everyone know. I'm just as shocked as everyone else when I walked in the door and I see this window, but I think it's a great thing. I'm not sure if I like it open like that because of the facade, but listen, I'm willing to work with everybody, try to get the best things for the galaxy. Thank you.
Richard Miller.
I think windows are a great thing. Absolutely. However, there's a process. We're a board. Excuse me.
No, excuse me. She was speaking to me.
There's a process
That's not-
that has to be followed.
That's not on your mind.
It is.
Thank you.
There's a process that should be followed. The board should have discussed it. How do we know that these meet spec? We should have developed a spec and gone out, not just any windows, and then said, what type of windows do we want to consider? There's a lot of things, not just enticing everybody with this. The management evidently spent time on this. Management has so many things to do. And these things, there's a protocol, has to be approved by the board. Otherwise, everybody runs in all different directions. And then, if it's a drastically different window like this, are people allowed to buy this kind of window, that kind of window? I believe we need some uniformity. Right now, the windows are the homeowner's responsibility. Is there a way we can do it galaxy-wide? If we can't afford it all one year, do it a project, each building over 3 years. So there's a lot of things, not just to throw it out here. So we have to follow a process, no matter how good the concept is.
Sorry, Ellen.
Maybe some people, they don't care to do the judiciary obligation to make sure to look into everything, and they're happy that all of a sudden they see something here. But as a board member, I know that people, they have elected me to make sure to discuss everything, to look at the specification, to make sure that we do a right thing, and that prevents a lot of corruption. How do I know? I mean, this, apparently ordering this, it takes time. So apparently the board president and the management, they work together without letting us know anything about it. How do I know why they have gone and ordered this particular window from a specific company? How do I know? That is how we make sure that there is no corruption. You have elected 9 people, and 9 people, they should, yes, I said it prevents corruption. I'm not saying that there is a corruption, but I want to know who has provided this window, what is the specification, and based on what criteria you went and you ordered this. Why do you hide things from the rest of us? There is, I mean, that makes me, yeah, whoever, I mean, how come that I didn't know that you have ordered the window? This is an important issue we kept saying that we want to do the windows, and you go and you bring a sample without us knowing it. Obviously, you worked on it for a long time. So how come that you didn't even mention it to us? And this is not the first time. This is what is happening here. And this is why a lot of things, the projects, we have to redo it. We have to spend more money on it. This is not right. 9 people basically have to participate in the decision making, not the president and general manager. Why are you excluding the directors from decision making? And this is not the first time. You do the boardroom, you may send an email, you just send an email and you just, it's like that is an urgent thing to do the boardroom. The boardroom is not an urgent thing that we have an email mode. We should discuss it. And all of a sudden I go to the boardroom and I see it has been done. Why are you wasting homeowners' money? And when we speak up, they say, oh, this is politics. This is not politics. This is following the procedure.
The issue of windows is an important issue. Under the present structure, the responsibility of windows has been with the ownership. To replace windows is going to be extremely expensive. So the process in terms of responsibility, cost, structure, how we're going to proceed with this becomes very germane. That being said, I think the issue of windows is very critical and important, and we should work together. And I think that's the issue here, is we need to work together. And I think that just a simple, we do have fiduciary responsibilities. We do. And although your intent and the intent of management might have been positive, there are fiduciary responsibilities dictated by our bylaws and New Jersey law. And I would hope that directors are aware of that, and that in the future will apply those rules and expectations so that we're not surprised.
Joe?
I just want to be clear as well, this is the first time I'm seeing the windows as well. To my understanding is there's zero financial impact to the Galaxy for this. I do believe that the board did task Dorothy to start the window process, where we tasked her to start other things. I think the board really needs to work with Dorothy and say clear direction in these instances, because there have been other things in the past where I feel the board has tasked Dorothy. Dorothy started the process and then we bring her back. So at this point in time, my understanding is there's zero financial commitment. There's going to be more products to come. This is just one sample that didn't cost the Galaxy anything. I would be very shocked if multiple window companies wouldn't be willing to give us free samples of different windows so that we have options, because this would be a huge project for them, for the revenue they can generate for them. So I do think this is start of the process. If you want to say that the board should have seen it first before it was presented, you know, that's just the way the directors gonna, you know, would feel or wouldn't feel, but I think there's going to be additional samples to come. I believe it's important for everybody to understand from a quote fiduciary responsibility, there's zero financial commitment from the Galaxy to these windows, and I don't believe that we would just be looking at one style from one manufacturer. I would expect multiple manufacturers and multiple styles, and I think something at this level, as a board member, I would recommend, you know, a meeting with the homeowners when we have the full slate as it gets closer to the time that the actual ending product would be picked.
That's all right, we're going to move forward on the agenda. So next is the Treasurer Controller's report.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tommy Fierro, and I'll be presenting the Controller's report this evening. As of January 31st, 2018, there was approximately $7 million of cash, comprised of $4.6 million in the R&R fund, $650,000 in the operating fund, and about $1.7 million in escrow. The accounts receivable as of January 31st was approximately $2.7 million, comprised of $2.5 million in legal, $79,000 in payment plans, $38,000 of payments from 0 to 30 days due, $6,000 that are 30 to 60 days due, and about $1,700 over 60 days due. This past month, we had approximately $362,000 through Rent Cafe, our online payment portal. The accounts payable as of January 31st was about $1 million, $240,000 of which relates to the R&R fund. There's $612,000 in invoices that are 0 to 30 days old, $209,000 that are 31 to 60 days old, $46,000 that are 61 to 90 days old, and about $140,000 over 90 days. As of January 31st, there were approximately 650 owner occupants and 425 absentee owners. Of the 425 units with absentee owners, 377 are occupied by tenants. Tenants represent approximately 35% of the total Galaxy units. This concludes the financial report this evening.
Are there any questions?
Yes.
Yes. Richard.
Could you tell me if you get a check from the mall for parking every month?
That I would have to look into.
Are they skipped? Okay. Could you report back to
Yeah.
the board
Yeah.
and to council so we know about that?
Yeah, I'll get an email out to
To the board. Thank you very much.
No problem. Any other questions?
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the management report.
Good evening, Mr. President, directors of the board and Galaxy community. It is my pleasure to provide the management report for the month of February. If I may, I would like to comment on the windows. There are 4 other manufacturers that are about to send different samples. We're talking about encasement, we're talking about double hangs, we're talking about picture windows and different enclosure hardware. The samples are sent at no cost to the association, so that way unit owners and the board can actually see how different window works and operates. Only then, when the decision is made on what is preferable, RFP with actual specs can be released to all the manufacturers for that particular window. I just wanted to clarify this. It is my pleasure. I would like to start by introducing new additions to our team. Most of you have already met Christopher Rosen. He's a project coordinator, and he actually has been really involved with many small projects around the community. And thank you for your positive feedback about Chris. I also would like to introduce to you Gary Moore, our purchasing specialist. He's been with us for over a month at this point, and he's doing very well, and we also are very happy to have him on our team. LED light retrofits project is in progress with approximately 80% of lights already installed through the community. Installation of new LED lights in the spa lounge and hallways will commence in March and indoor pool in a few months. Renovation of all 3 lobbies has been completed with new wallpaper, ceiling tile, and carpets installed. New lobby furniture and artwork has also been delivered. We hope residents will enjoy the new, fresh look. A fire state inspection took place in fall of 2017. We received a list of various violations for each tower. I want to thank our maintenance team because they really spent long hours working with vendors and performing a lot of in-house work as well. And they did actually an excellent job in addressing every single item on time, and for the first time ever, Galaxy actually received the compliance status from the fire department.
Good job.
Good job, Laura.
It's a teamwork. Thank you. I really would like to emphasize that it wasn't an easy task. It took a lot of effort. New garage drains have been installed and the lines will be connected next week. Installation of new ceramic tile has been completed in main laundry hallway vestibules. As you can see, it matches the brand new tile in all the laundry rooms. We also hope you will enjoy the new fresh look. Garage reserve parking signs are expected to arrive around March 1st. We will be communicating with all the residents regarding the relocation of the reserve parking. Nick, our resident operations manager, will be communicating more details next week. I'm happy to report that the second boiler has been fully connected and passed all tests. We are currently running on both boilers, therefore residents should no longer experience problems with hot water loss due to system redundancy. All the domestic hot water heat exchangers for the towers have also been installed. New heat exchangers for the pools, spa, hot tubs, and spa showers will be installed in March. BMS system for the tower mechanical rooms has been installed, and we're just waiting for the internet connection to be completed next week. And as you can actually see on the pictures, I mean, we finally will be able to monitor operations of every boiler and the heat exchanger electronically on our iPads and phones. Therefore, staff will be able to react to any problems in real time and would actually know what's going on without trying to investigate the issue. I also would like to add that the BMS system that we've installed, provided by Delta Controls, will be also utilized for any other new mechanical equipment. Therefore, it's not just for the boilers. If we replace any HVAC units, if we replace any other mechanical equipment, everything will be connected to that system, so the staff will be able to monitor everything on their smartphones or iPads. As Wade mentioned, building and killing have been fully installed and have been in operation for a week now. And we received actually a lot of positive feedback from residents. I would like to encourage all residents to update their emergency contact information, and if you need to change your email addresses, the forms are available actually on the bar table behind you. Management has prepared 4 recommendations for your consideration and approval this evening. Staff would like to seek authorization to hire merit engineering consultants to prepare specification drawings and bid documents for restoration of the indoor pool deck for the cost of $17,000 plus reimbursable expenses, and the building and department filing fee of $2,550. We have recently hired an engineer to investigate various cracks and existing condition of the indoor pool and the kiddie pool, and it has been determined that repairs and waterproofing of the underside of the pool deck, top side of pool deck, and corroded rebars are necessary. The next item, the staff would like to seek authorization to award contract to Lois and Majon Architects and Engineers to conduct an investigation of the kitchen and bathroom ventilation system. The engineering services will be billed hourly, not to exceed $15,000. And as per the scope of work, the engineers will make investigation, review building mechanical plans, inspect all the ventilation of the kitchen and bathrooms in selected apartments, no towers, inspect and evaluate the performance for exhaust roof fans serving the bathrooms and kitchen, and perform preliminary ventilation load calculation to ensure the adequacy of the existing fans. They will also perform smell tests at selected apartments, kitchen, and bathroom dwells at different levels of the building. The camera drops will be incorporated to obtain the information. The item number 3 is engineering services for hallway air conditioning units. As you know, most of the units have exceeded their useful life expectancies and do not work at the present time. Staff would like to seek authorization to hire Merit Engineering to prepare drawings and specification to hire Lois and Majon also to perform the evaluation of the hallway air conditioning unit replacement. For the total of $15,300 plus the $2,550 reimbursable invoices for any filings necessary. The last item, number 4, is actually mold planter, berm, mini park skylight repairs and waterproofing. There have been a lot of different leaks into the mold. The water infiltration comes from various building elements, and we would like to hire, the staff would like to seek to hire Merit Engineering to prepare drawings and specification bidding documents for the excavation and waterproofing of the mold planter, part of the berm, waterproofing and repairs of the mini park skylight, and the replacement of metal flashings at the exterior wall of the adjoins the planter. Thank you. This concludes my report.
Any question? We're going to start with Rich Basket. I'm sorry, Justin, go ahead.
Yes. Well, I got the microphone. Dorothy, I thank you very much for your report. I just wanted to let the homeowners know, last Saturday, the entire office staff was here putting together the building link, and it was really nice to see everybody coming in on your own time to try to help our community. It was very, very nice seeing you and the staff, and I applaud the staff for putting together a project that was slated even prior to me being on the board, and 2 general managers dropped the ball on it, and I really thank Dorothy for all your hard work, and the boiler project being basically completed now is another notch in your belt. Really great job. Thank you very much, Dorothy.
Richard Vasquez, did you? Okay, just go straight down. I was just going to go straight down.
I have 2 questions really. One is that the boiler. Now that we have done the boilers, why we have got so many water shut down, we don't have hot water, and also on February 6th at 8:30, a homeowner called me and said that she was taking a shower and there was no hot water and there was no notification of that there is no hot water. So given the fact that we have done the boilers, why is still we have so many shutdowns and we don't have the hot waters? And my second question is regarding the garage. There are some puddles on 12th floor and 11th floor. We have done the floors on 12th floor and in the 11th floors. How come that there are still puddles there? It's not even. There are puddles, and since last week that we had a rain, still those waters are there. Have you noticed that, and do you know why?
Absolutely. Okay, so the first question, as far as the paddles, I just said that we installed new drains in the garage, and that should actually eliminate the issue with the paddles. Your garage deck was not sloped properly, and that's why you have standing water. It doesn't go into the drains. But this is not the repair work that we're talking about. This was the original construction. Mr. Richard Miller and I walked the building. We actually met with the contractors. We evaluated the situation. So basically, the best way to mitigate the issue is to install the new drains. The new drains, as I said, have been just installed, and we need to connect them to the lines. So they will be working as of next week when the plumber actually connects them.
The engineering, they didn't spot it before because they did the whole flow. They didn't spot it that the drains has not been done properly and not something.
No. The drains, we're talking about two different issues. We're talking insufficient amount of drains and the bad sloping of the deck. That's why you actually have paddles. The water, the drains, the water is not going down to the drain. So there was not the scope of work of the original repair contract to install any drains. This was the change order that you guys approved at the last board meeting to actually have the drains installed. It's a much more feasible and cheaper solution than sloping the deck, which will be extremely difficult and almost impossible. I mean, it will be extremely costly due to the original construction. So that's number one. Number two, regarding the boilers, the boiler projects itself and installation of the heat exchangers requires a lot of water shutdowns or hot water shutdowns. We have been sending notifications to the unit owners as we were actually connecting the second boiler, which only went live as this past Tuesday, because we couldn't put this into service. There's a protocol, there's hydraulic testing that needs to be done. So only as of next Tuesday, you actually have two boilers, therefore you have redundancy. If one goes down, the other one will kick in and basically provide the system, the service. So having said that, so that's number one. We had a lot of scheduled water shutdowns which were required to connect the system and to install new heat exchangers. There were some emergencies that we've encountered because now you have brand new 500 horsepower, very strong boilers. Unfortunately, your heat exchanger are still very old and they do not work. That's what caused the emergencies issue. So the case that you're referring to at 6:30 in the afternoon, unfortunately, we did not know that the system was going to down. It was an emergency and it was addressed as quickly as we possibly could. Does that answer your question, Sonia?
Yeah, but going forward, hopefully we don't have any hot water shutdown because we are done with this.
Okay, so as I just said in my report, we still have heat exchangers to install in the spa areas, in the pools, so there might be some hot water, and water shutdowns necessary to that. Having said that, we have a lot of other work coming up, and you will be receiving notification this Friday about overnight water shutdown because we do have a broken main in the mall which causing flooding. So that work is being scheduled for next week. But obviously we don't want to leave community without any water. So that work is being scheduled for overnight hours and to minimize the inconvenience. But that will be another schedule interruption. So it's not just the boilers. I mean, we're also talking about old pipes and other emergencies that occur.
Richard Vasquez. I'm going to go straight down the table because I don't know who asked.
Dorothy, I have a question regarding something that came to my attention from another director regarding candidates night. At that time, a security guard issued a report to management regarding my discussions, the director's discussions with people outside candidates night, and that report went to you. At a meeting that I had, I'm not going to discuss under what context, a director had a copy of that report and made some accusations regarding the appropriateness of my having those discussions. Number one, is it under what circumstances would a security guard or security people generate an incident report regarding a director's conversation regarding the election And how did that report make it into the hands of to a specific director, so that and land up as an accusatory document against me?
I believe that should be answered by Arnold. It was directed to him, and he submitted an answer, so I believe that should be. The question of whether that was about the campaign and how the information was disseminated, and I believe you distributed an email.
Thank you. The question's a little bit different than I was tasked to review at the last meeting. What I believe was just asked was how did the information get distributed, as opposed to whether the information itself was a violation of the election rules. So in my review of the rules, there is a prohibition against any personnel, including security, from monitoring the activities of the candidates or campaign activity, except during the normal course of their responsibilities. And my view, based upon the discussion and the information I was given, was that a discussion was held in the hallway or near the security guard, in which the security guard overheard that conversation. And in that conversation, there was a mention about management either doing something or not doing something, and the security guard reported that to management. In my view, that is not a violation of the rule, because that would be conduct that's taking place in their normal course of activity in their presence. However, if that information was brought to the attention of management because it was overheard in a recording or viewed on a videotape or some other kind of monitoring device, then I would say that that is a violation of the election rules, as I've interpreted them based upon what I've seen.
And Joe, it was your turn next. Sorry.
Can I ask a question?
You can answer if you choose.
Yeah, sure.
And Joe, you were recognized next.
I really would like to answer that question. We have a great people working for the Galaxy. Security is really doing their job, even though sometimes they are accused of not doing the jobs. And their job is basically to report to me and provide daily incident reports, which we get. So we know if somebody smoked, we know if somebody got aggressive, we know of anything that happened and had potential of the incidents. We did not monitor the election. There was no electronic devices. We do have cameras in the spa, but they do not have any voice recording. It's just picture. That's number one. And my security person happened to stand after the meeting, not too far from Mr. Richard Vasquez, and she overheard the conversation in which my name was tarnished and the name of another director was tarnished, which was not true. So the normal course of action is for her to actually report this as an incident report. I received this incident report and I forwarded this on to the attorneys and the board president as the protocol calls, because anything pertaining to the election and any accusation should have been directed to you as per your directions. And that's exactly what I've done. Now I really want to make a point that security was here to observe the behavior, and they were actually removed from the room because my understanding was they were, some residents were too intimidated by them being actually here. And they were standing in a common area, and it wasn't just them, it were also other people. So there was no eavesdropping, there was no monitoring, it was a common area. They happened to be there, they overheard it and reported to me as they should report any other incident. Thank you.
Richard, you asked to speak.
I'll let him speak.
Richard, you're going to come down.
Arnold, thank you.
I'd like to be.
I would like to point out that it would be a good idea for you to see the incident report and criticism of management, or, I mean, any issues regarding management, whether it's, whatever the discussion is. I wasn't aware that criticism of management was an incident report. If that was the, Okay, well, you know, I mean, I didn't think that criticizing management or evoking the name of management would be considered an incident to report. I mean, that's freedom of speech. Other than that, the question also was, how is it that one director got that report, which was used as an accusatory document against me, and I, as the person that was being accused, and two other directors were not given that information. So we went into a meeting and were blindsided. I'm making this public because I'm a director, and this is an open board meeting, and as a director in an open board meeting, I just want to raise this concern. I don't know what the intentions were, but if it was in conformance with policy, it's something that I'm a little concerned, very concerned with, because it's intimidating for somebody to have to worry about what they're saying going to management, and now you're under scrutiny, or you're going to be accused of something, or even punished. You know, and I'm a director. I can't even imagine what an owner would feel under those circumstances. So I raised this issue as a concern for the board to consider, so that going forward with this election, people don't have to be concerned about what they're saying and who they're saying it in front of, and worry about employees being used by management in order to win an election.
Joe? No.
The problem here is that on the candidate nights, we sit there as a homeowner. We are not sitting there as directors. Homeowners or directors, they are allowed to say whatever they want to say. You know, it's not that, is there any rule that, you know, we cannot talk to another homeowner and say what we feel or what we see? I don't think there is any problem with that. But that gives the feeling to the certain directors that the staff have been directed to spy on homeowners and the directors on what they are saying. So this is what is wrong. And then if the right process would be followed, if there is an incident, which I cannot see I cannot see that as an incident. If that is an incident, it should be forwarded to you and the board president, and the board president's responsibility is to keep it quiet until he receives direction from you, or if he wants to send it to the board, he has to send it to all board members.
I didn't send it to everyone.
Not to one board member. That one board member, you know, comes with
Ask Joe, not me.
this much. I don't know how do you know about it. I didn't know about it. These are the
No, wait. You both have accused me of forwarding something that I did not do. And I'm entitled to defend myself. I received it, I did not forward it to anyone. Show me proof, because you just made an accusation. I am publicly accused now, and I'm publicly asking you for proof of the statement that you, no, you've done this whole thing. You calm down.
You say that it has been said, the general manager
You made an accusation against me.
it has been said to you and
And I'm not going to sit here and take
president,
this
right? Because if it has been said to the officers, I'm the officer, I didn't get it. If you send it to
Okay, so we're going to move to Joe.
the treasurer got it and I didn't get it.
You accused me, it's not true. Prove it.
Anyway, Joe, how did you get that report when we did
Joe
that?
has been recognized.
Wait, work with us. Don't work against the director.
I'm not working against you.
Yes. Okay.
So candidates night,
All this
management due
Okay.
to certain, either board members or the candidates, it was determined that management could not be in this room. Management was not in this room, management did not think that meant security could not be in this room. So there was no intent, nobody's spying on anybody, this is just insecurities of people that are paranoid because maybe they look inside themselves and their actions. But security happened to be in the hallway because they were told to leave the room. So they were not following anybody. If they weren't told to leave the room, nobody would have been out there. When a board of director, and in my opinion, board of directors are held to a higher standard than regular homeowners because they sit in a room and are privy to much more information. But when you have a board director that is sitting at candidates night where there are people that are more interested in the election than the homeowners that, just rely on their friends to vote or don't vote at all, you know you have interested parties here who are going to spread the word on who to vote for. When you have a board of director walking in and out of candidates night, talking to homeowners and bringing up an accusation that there's collusion between management and another board member trying to rig an election, if my name is brought up into that and management knows that, I believe it was her responsibility to let me know that, and she did. I have not seen this complaint, but I was verbally...
You alone, as a board member, you take that on yourself.
We can control ourselves and speak when you're addressed. It was my turn to speak, but once again, you don't want to hear the truth, so you'll speak over me so people can hear the truth. That is the truth. The truth is that Richard Vasquez was standing in candidates night, would go outside the door and would tell people that Joe Purcell and management are putting together the PowerPoint for Justin and Richie because they can't do it themselves. So you're trying to hurt the candidates that are standing here, and you're trying to hurt my reputation, and you're trying to hurt management's reputation. Then, let's go on to the next piece of information. Then, we have a homeowner that's having an issue with accounting. This homeowner is having an issue with accounting, and one director, on behalf of this homeowner, takes it upon themselves to start an investigation with legal that has now cost the association to the tune of over $3,000 by this whole thing is done. But this is one director, and that same director, once again, made the accusation that the board, accounting, and management are now in collusion to fix the election. Let's go on to the next piece of information. A homeowner sends the board a email about concerns of the fence. It's a homeowner to the board based on facts of, I'm worried about my fence. One director decides to put an entire different email chain on this of homeowners and renters, and maybe accidentally my name was on that list, or I probably would never have seen it. And once again, he went on to bash. So he took a homeowner's concern, decided to turn it into political literature, and bash two people that are sitting board members, and once again, imply that there is collusion in this election with management and the board. If one sitting director is doing that, and somebody overhears him and brings it to management attention, I would have been disgusted if Dorothy didn't bring it to my attention, because it's my reputation on the line, it's Justin's reputation on the line, and it's Richie's reputation on the line. So you can spin the facts all you want and say maybe security overstepped, maybe Dorothy overstepped, but at what extent are certain directors willing to go to win an election when they took, and believe me, if there is any litigation that comes out of the fence, you can thank one sitting director on this board.
Okay, Joe.
Mike,
I'll go ahead.
on something.
I'll take it back.
All right, what's up, thank you. It's an election, no shock here, no shock whatsoever. And the unfortunate thing that takes place in elections that I've found in the galaxy is the seeds of hatred. And boy, oh boy, do they come out strong. We have lost some good people that worked here because of some directors that used their muscle to have people removed. We have also lost good people that worked here because they got frustrated with the politics that takes place here. I just at this time want to give a vote of confidence to all the work that Dorothy does here. We've had past, thank you. We've had past general managers here that you would ask them, you know, what are you doing on this project? Oh, that's a good idea. Let me start work on that. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Let me start work on that. I got to tell you something about the general manager that we have here today, that we risk losing because of all the horseshit that takes place here. And it's just what it is. You can't use any other word to describe it. the lengths that people will go to achieve their own task is disgusting. This woman, Dorothy, I mean, I can't keep track of her. I can't keep track because as she's working on one project and another project, I try to catch up with the project she's working on. She's working on 4 and 5 other projects at the same time. So there's no shock to me when I come downstairs tonight and see a window here. How do some board members look at it? Collusion. Oh crap, here we go again. They're colluding against us. Come on, guys. Enough, Richard. Really, enough. Enough. This is a great operation here. We have the potential of making it even greater. There are some ideas that this board has come up with. That's incredible. The amount of work that's taken place under this present board is unbelievable. Dorothy is doing tasks right now that previous general managers, you can go back 4 and 5 general managers, that they didn't even try to take on. She's not only taking them on, she's accomplishing them. For God's sake, man, get your heads out of your butts and start to realize that you got something really good here. And get on board. And if you can't get on board, get out of the way. But stop acting like children, please.
I'm going to recognize Mr. Miller, and then we're going to move on, because we've spent an hour.
You've made a lot of accusations against me.
No, you made accusations, Mr. Vasquez. You made
Wait a minute. Joe made some serious accusations, and I have a right to respond to them.
Stop with the child.
No. Number one,
You don't have the floor. You don't have the floor.
How
You don't have the floor. You don't have the floor. You don't have the floor. You don't have the
board
floor.
members being denied information.
Have them removed if you can't control the meeting.
And now I'm being
Have them removed.
Is this what we want?
We have short recess.
People can't defend themselves.
Short recess.
We're going to recess. We're going, even before Mike gets back, we have a quorum. You can start. Richard asked to be.
Mike.
We're back in session, we returned from recess. I'm recognizing that Richard Miller has been very patient and waiting. Richard Vasquez, you will have the chance.
We need help out homeowners. So I'm trying to help homeowners, not all.
Richard Miller.
Some people want to just create havoc.
I do think that Richard Vasquez should get a chance to respond, whether it's after I talk or before.
Who's manager?
I'm willing to let him speak before I speak. He should be able to respond.
That's fine, I never said that that wasn't the case. You asked, you recognize I'm trying to go down the process.
Okay.
So let everyone have
Yield
equal
it.
access. So,
Temporary
Richard
yielding.
Vasquez, Miller said that we read, does that work?
Testing. No one likes this ugly stuff. Nobody does. Okay? And my concern was simply this, that the issue that I raised was about coming into a meeting that when I walked into the meeting, I had no idea that our attorneys were going to be there. There was no indication in any literature that I was going to be, that a hearing was going to take place on me. At that point, Justin, one of the things that happened was Justin tried to make a motion to remove me as a director based on a resignation that I had given as a result of seeing our only female director being verbally abused by 3 board members. And at that point, I got so disgusted from the yelling and screaming at her that I said, who needs this? But then, in talking to Mike Cricco, I would say, he convinced me to stay on. And he's a good man. You know, we may disagree on a lot, but you can disagree and still respect each other. And I've had that relationship with Mike, even though we're on different sides. Right, Mike?
I'm on no side.
Yeah, right. I mean, or even when we disagree. Or even when we disagree.
This is about the business of the galaxy. Can we
Correct.
get back to it? It's not grandstanding.
I'm glad that he's, you know, I understand, and so that's him. But anyway, at that time, I rescinded my resignation within maybe 15, 20 minutes. And it didn't take, it was an agreement that, it didn't stand. And this was supported by council. But still, you know, the attempt to even have me removed by that kind of tactic was very disconcerting to me, because I wasn't aware that it was going to happen. Neither were Director Sohelia and Richard Miller. We were all caught by surprise on that one. That being said, Joe Purcell basically came out with what he told you. I'm not going to even bother to respond to it because of the, it has, you know, his accusations have no merit. But I will respond. I'll go back to my initial question. How is it that his accusation of me talking to people outside, no matter what I was saying, backed up by a report by a security member of our security team, which was only sent to the general manager, and the general manager clearly informed Joe Purcell, I'm a member of the board. You're not supposed to communicate things only to a single board member. If you're going to communicate something, you communicate it to everybody. And I should have been given an opportunity as part of having due process to respond or to prepare for the meeting. And I get concerned about how owners are treated. I get concerned about owners being given due process. I get concerned about people that, that disagree with management or even the board not being given an opportunity, finding themselves with these cease and desist orders without hearing us having an opportunity to hear their side of the story. Or being, you know, and, you know, it is a concern to me because we have to respect our owners and we need to be inclusive of our owners. And we don't, and we need to be open and not secretive about our actions. So, that being said, you know, that's my position, and those are my convictions. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, was there anyone, yes, Jeff? You yielded.
Yeah, I said, but I would let him speak.
I yielded. I go to the next
You yielded. You yielded your time.
Yeah, my name was mentioned in that. I believe Richard Vasquez was speaking about a closed working session with legal. Was talking about a closed session with legal, where he had just said in front of everybody on camera that I made a motion to remove him as a director. I never made a motion. I didn't, the meeting wasn't over me trying to remove you as a director. I brought in a copy of your resignation letter to the board because that day you were using something that's something from a unit owner, an email list of people that are reacting to a situation in the mall to try to say that it's my fault, mine and Richie's fault, which I think you overstepped the lines and you broke the code of ethics as a director. So, me personally, you're attacking me. You're attacking me to people in the community. You're attacking me verbally to everybody, which is, you can't even say that you're not because you are. So now I'm doing it to defend myself, to say, I don't, and I did in the original email, when you sent out the email to the board saying that you resigned from a meeting I wasn't even at. I wasn't even at that meeting. I got an email that night from you saying I resigned. And I replied, I accept your resignation. And I said I protested because you were going on in this meeting. I protest you being a board of director, and I have the letter that says that you resigned. We asked for legal's opinion on it. The board never voted. I never made a motion to remove you. If I could, I would. If I could make a motion to remove you as a board of director, I think you're a liability. I think you're a liability to the GTCA. I don't think that you even realize how much of a liability you are to the GTCA. I'm entitled to my opinion, just like you're entitled to yours. But I never made a motion to remove you as a director, and that meeting wasn't because of me. The meeting with legal was because of you and your actions and what you're costing the Galaxy.
Mike, you asked.
Joe's next.
I'll just say again, there was no formal report. I saw any homeowner that wants to see the details of what I have on YouTube, Joe Purcell, then the number 12 at Gmail. Anybody else, I will share the facts with you because I deal with facts, and that's what I do. It's in black and white on paper. So if anybody has any concerns or thinking I'm making up any information, I'll gladly show any homeowner the information that I have and share it with you, and you can just put this to bed. You can read it for yourself and make your own decision.
I just, I pretty much said my piece before. I pretty much said my piece before, but I mean, you look at the amount of time that we spend on stupidity. I mean, really, stupidity. We have so much being accomplished here in the past 8-9 months since Dorothy has come on board. And we run the risk of losing a very courageous, ambitious woman because people have political agendas. And it's really unfortunate that we run that possibility because people put their egos ahead of what really the tasks that need to be accomplished at the Galaxy. So please, can we get on with this agenda so we don't have to talk about who did what, why, and how, and just act like gentlemen and move this agenda forward, because we have work to do. And this stuff interferes with the work to be done. Thank you.
Go ahead.
I've been waiting to get back. I want to get back to the original issue. As some of you may know, I believe in the process, and there's a right way of doing things and a wrong way of doing things. I'm going to read something from the election rules. I find it repulsive to find out that any conversation is being reported back to anybody. I don't care if it's, I'm not picking on the general manager, anybody. Well, a lot of people are here from Eastern Europe, and that's exactly what they left Eastern Europe for, where they had, what's the matter?
Eastern Europe now? Come on, can we get back to the agenda, please? It's a work done.
I find it repulsive that any reporting is being done. Don't we have more important things than to report back? Anyway, I want to mention one thing from the election rules. It's under campaigning, number 7, HII. Let me see, I'm not going to read the whole. No GTCA employee may monitor any campaign activity except as part of the normal discharge of responsibility such as occurs during the non-campaign periods. No GTCA may specifically directly monitor any campaign activity except upon formal written request of the election committee or election coordinator, or except to investigate a charge of disorderly conduct. I didn't see any disorderly conduct. Which charge shall be recorded in writing naming the complainant and the specifics of the charge. All such charges shall be available to any unit owner for inspection upon request. It's there in the rules for a reason, but I still find it repulsive that any conversations are reported back. And I believe that rule exists someplace else, and I'm going to look for it.
Richard,
All
you
I wanted
forgot
to
to use the word candidate. You left the word candidate out
Why?
of the rules. But anyway, I make a motion.
Okay,
I make a motion to adopt administrative resolution number 47, establishment of the community committee. Whereas Article 4, Section 1 of the association bylaws.
okay, wait, I'm sorry. Wait, we're going to move on with the agenda.
Yes, I'm making a motion.
Everyone's had equal time. I don't know, but we're going on to unfinished business. Unfinished business is next on the agenda is 4.0, and 4.1 is the committee.
I make a motion to adopt administrative resolution number 47, the establishment of a community committee. Whereas Article 4, Section 1 of the association bylaws states the property affairs and business of the association shall be managed by the board of directors, which shall have all those powers granted to it by the articles of incorporation, the master deed, the bylaws, and the bylaw. And whereas Article 5, Section 1, Paragraph V of the bylaws authorizes the association's board of directors, the board, to create, appoint members to, and disband such committees as in its discretion. The board determines our needs to assist it, and whereas the board recognizes that a viable system of standing committees is needed to aid the board and its work and to enable the members of the association to contribute towards the welfare and lifestyles of the Galaxy owners and residents. And whereas the board recognizes the need to provide the board with updated information and recommendation regarding the condition of the common property, possible upgrades or maintenance neglect that would help to maintain and improve the community's property values. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the board establishes a community committee, the committee, subject to the following duties. The primary responsibility of the committee is to advise and assist the board in developing and improving the overall appearance and maintenance of the common property. 2, in fulfilling its responsibilities, the committee shall submit for each project that identifies a general description and projected cost for consideration to the board. 3, the committee shall perform such other functions and take such other responsibilities as may be directed or approved by the board. Organization. The chairperson of the committee shall be appointed by the board, the chairperson shall serve for a 1-year term ending on December 31st of the calendar year of which the chairperson was appointed. In the event that the successor chairperson is not appointed until after January 1st of the succeeding calendar year, then the term of the chairperson shall extend until the chairperson's successor is appointed in January of each year or at the time of the chairperson's position becomes vacant. The committee members herein defined shall nominate a chairperson. That nomination shall be submitted to the board for consideration. The board may accept or reject the recommendation of the committee and may substitute its own choice for chairperson. In case where a co-chairperson is approved by the board, all meetings must be jointly called by both co-persons. All written communications with the board must be signed by both chairpersons. But only one chairperson will attend meetings of the board when requested to report on committee activities. The board may remove or replace a chairperson with or without cause at any time. The membership. Membership shall be composed of up to 8 members, majority of whom shall be owners. The remaining members shall be made up of permanent adult residents of the Galaxy. Members shall be appointed by the board for a 1-year term, expiring December 31st of the calendar year for which they were appointed. In the event that a member is not appointed until after January 1st of the succeeding calendar year, then the term of the prior member shall extend until the member's successor is appointed. Early each calendar year, the newly approved chairperson shall recommend to the board for its consideration proposed members for the calendar year. The board may accept or reject the recommendations of the chairperson and may substitute its own choices for members of the committee. Members must maintain regular attendance at committee meetings. If a member misses 4 consecutive meetings or is not current within 30 days of all billable charges due to the association, i.e. for maintenance, garage, cable, spa, covenants, etc., the member is deemed automatically removed from the committee without further action by the board and must reapply to the chairperson for membership. The board may remove and replace members with or without cause at any time. The board may fill vacancies on the committee at any time during the calendar year. Recorder. The chairperson shall designate a recorder from among the members of the committee. The recorder shall be responsible for producing committee meeting minutes, maintaining committee correspondence, preparing written recommendations, and in general maintaining and filing all committee documents and data. Meeting minutes is, if applicable, and the monthly summary of committee activities shall be forwarded to the board through the secretary of the board monthly by the 14th day of the month of summary. Subcommittees, from time to time as necessary, the committee may create ad hoc subcommittees from among its members. Each subcommittee must have specific written goals and objectives approved by the committee. The chairperson shall designate subcommittee chairpersons. No person who is not a board-appointed committee member may serve on a subcommittee. Operations. Meetings shall be held as often as needed to carry out assignments and responsibilities. Regular monthly meetings are anticipated, except during July and August. Only the chairperson may call meetings. 2 business days prior notice by email shall be deemed sufficient notice. The presence of a majority of the members shall constitute a quorum. Subcommittees shall meet as often as needed to complete their tasks. Members may not vote or act otherwise by proxy, but may vote by email and participate in subcommittee meetings by phone. A copy of the minutes of each meeting shall be submitted to the secretary of the board together with a summary of the activities as provided in paragraph 3 above. The committee function. The committee shall assess the conditions and needs within its area of responsibility in order to propose for the board adoption detailed plans of action to achieve community goals and objectives. In addition, the committee will take action or perform studies and research as the board may direct by written communication. The committee shall have no authority to enter any contract, incur any debt, or otherwise bind or act on behalf of or in the name of the association. All such commitments must be approved by the board or general manager if authorized, and signed by an officer of the board or general manager if authorized. Chairperson function. The chairperson will manage meetings of the committee and supervise its activity to assure the committee responsibilities are met. The chairperson will review all reports prepared for the board by the recorder and will coordinate committee budget and funds requests. Channels of communication. All general communication with the board will be in memorandum form and signed by the writer and the chairperson. All suggestions for the board action must be directed to the secretary of the board and reviewed by the board.
I'm sorry. That's the entire AR. So these were prepared with the template. So the next 2 we're only going to read the duties because the other paragraphs are by the template and they are consistent across the board.
Actually, you can limit in the duties just to the unique ones with respect to
the next two, just the duties.
You can take a second on this and vote it.
Right, yes. We will. We'll
I
take a
actually
second on
enjoy
this.
reading the AR.
Well, that was, we in honor of everybody's time. They're all the same. They're just the duties are different. We'll read the duties on the next 2. There was a motion made. Is there a second? The motion was made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Yes, Richard Bass.
With an absence of a strategic plan, the absence of a capital needs assessment, with an absence of some set of priorities which can determine how we're going to spend our money wisely. Now we're going to add another layer of jobs created by people without knowing what needs to be fixed first, where the priorities are. And this is something that I think runs contrary to a coherent and cogent approach to the needs of the galaxy. I've been in facilities management and capital formation projects for over 35 years. And I think we need to focus first on setting priorities, setting up a capital needs assessment and strategic plan, incorporated into some kind of coherent review of our needs, and that needs to be the priority, not setting up a committee that's going to compete with these issues.
Any other discussion?
Brian was connection there, basically, the whole one.
Okay, so.
Got Brian on there?
Yeah. And yes. So the motion was made and seconded. If there's no more discussion, all those in favor of passing, say aye or raise your hand. Aye. Rich, Brian, Richie? Those opposed?
Over here.
Aye in favor or opposed? So two opposed. Mayor, take the vote. Abstentions? The motion carries. The next, for the next one, Justin, because it's equally as long, it's the same, this exercise was to consolidate the rules for committees.
So Justin, I would read the title,
Yes, I got it.
and in this instance, duty number 1 is unique to this resolution.
I'd like to make,
Which one is this?
This is number 21.
I make a motion to adopt Administrative Resolution Number 21, the establishment of a Recreational Activities Committee, whereas the verbiage is exactly the same as the prior AR, with the difference in duties. The primary responsibility of the committee is to advise to the board in matters concerning clubs maintaining or seeking recognition as Galaxy clubs entitled to the use of Galaxy facilities pursuant to the association's rules and regulations.
The motion was made. Is there a second?
Second.
The motion is made and second. Is there any discussion? No discussion. Those in favor, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'm sorry, Richie and Justin and Brian?
Aye for Richie.
Brian?
I understand, I didn't hear that well.
It's just, so he's abstaining. Any objections? Abstentions? The motion carries. No, unanimous. Mary, what was the vote?
I made,
Brian Plunkett?
Abstain.
Abstain.
And Richard, what was your vote?
It was 4.
Okay, so one abstention.
motion to ratify a prior vote, motion to authorize staff to purchase LED lights from...
I'm sorry, we have one more, Justin. There's AR number 15 for the establishment of the parents committee.
And 26.
And 26, which is the senior. So same thing on 15, Justin, just the duties.
In this one, you do
No. Just
1 through 6.
15.
This is the parents committee, resolution number 15.
It's in your packet, like I spoke to you about.
Go, yeah, it's in section 4.1. Keep going back.
I make a motion to adopt Administrative Resolution Number 15, the establishment of the Parents Committee, whereas the duties will be the primary responsibility of the Parents Committee to advise to the board in development and improving activities and equipment for the children of the community, developing a program of organized, scheduled, sponsored activities for different age groups of the Galaxy, on the Galaxy premises, e.g. story hour, sing-along, dance lessons, music groups, etc. Number 3, making recommendations to the board and interacting with the committees with regard to children's safety, lifestyles, and activities in and around the Galaxy. Number 4, interacting with the town and or county on schools, parks, programs, etc. Number 5, recommending to the board for its approval rules for the care and supervision of children using the Galaxy facilities. Number 6, recommending to the board for its approval facilities and equipment and their maintenance and upkeep for use by the Galaxy children. Number 7, the committee shall perform such other functions and take such other responsibilities as may be directed or approved by the board.
Is there a second? The motion was made in second to adopt AR number 15, the establishment of the Parents Committee. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Richard Miller.
I'd like to amend it. I want to add, we had spoken about when we were in working sessions about furnishing a calendar. So I'd like to amend it. And the amendment is to add a paragraph to furnish the board and management a proposed calendar of events to the extent known for the coming year by the January board meeting.
Okay, so the motion was made to amend the motion to add a paragraph stating that the parents committee would also be required to provide a calendar with understood scheduled events for the calendar year. There's a second to amend the motion. All those in favor of the amended motion?
You gotta get a second.
I second it.
There was a second. There was a motion and a second for the amendment.
I'll second it.
So there was two already, so we're good. Motion was made to amend it and seconded. All those in favor?
I have a little bit of discussion on that. To be clear, we want to have the spa committee tell us before January 1st?
This is
I mean,
the parents.
the parents committee.
This is the parents committee.
Before,
to give us
before January 1st, what they're planning to do for the next year.
for a calendar year, yes. This calendar events, correct. That's what we're.
I believe I said by the January board meeting. I don't know.
I'm sorry, you did, because they're
Well, that's
officially
what-
only appointed
Yes,
as
that's
to begin
when
the first of
it's appointed.
January. So they would have to have time to meet in order to develop the calendar. So it will be by the first board meeting. So the motion was made and seconded to amend the motion. Those in favor of the amended motion, please raise your hand or say aye. Brian and Richie? Okay, so Richie abstains. Brian? I'm sorry, Brian, Richie?
You should ask.
So Richie votes yes. All those opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries. I'm sorry, Mary.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. Yeah, for the amended. I just-
So do you
I got
have
it. Yes,
everyone
thank you.
recorded now?
Yes.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Another amendment? I would, just one second. I would remove number 4 under duties, interacting with the town and/or county on schools, parks, programs, etc.
I'm sorry, Richard, we just took a vote and passed the amended motion.
Okay, I'm making another
You would
amendment.
have to make another motion.
You can't do that right now.
We've already made a motion to pass the amended resolution.
But I'm making another amendment.
We would have to have a whole new motion. We amended the motion to pass the amended motion.
No, you pass the amendment.
First pass the amendment.
Pass the
and
amendment.
Then you pass.
Then you pass, we do it.
So you're gonna go, so I'm sorry, defaulting to John Hay.
I thought we had two votes, we had one?
Just one.
We did not vote on the motion itself.
Okay.
We voted on the
Okay.
amended,
Okay.
the amendment.
Correct.
Pass the amendment.
Correct.
So I'll repeat again. I make a motion to remove under duties number 4, interacting with the town and/or county on schools, parks, programs, etc. I don't, I need a second.
You do need a second on the motion for discussion. So this is to remove item number 4 under duties, which is interacting with the town and or county on school board. It's made, the motion was made and seconded for the amendment. Yes,
Can I speak about it?
you can in 1 second, since I've finished and asked for discussion. So now, is there any discussion on the amendment?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I don't think it's a good idea. The other committees don't interact. It's just not a good idea to be doing that. We'll send mixed messages unless you have one spokesman for the committee. All the other committees don't. Directors don't interact with town or county officials or shouldn't. It's not a good idea. They're here
Yes.
to be in the galaxy and advise the board about galaxy issues, not town or county.
Yes, Mike.
How do you propose to control that? How do you propose to control it?
Not in an official manner.
How do you propose to control someone sitting on a committee and it's, what is the committee? The committee is a parents committee and they need to use the parks, they need to rent out stuff, they need to do a function. They have to speak with the town on some issues.
They should do it as a private citizen and speak to them, should have nothing to do with the Galaxy.
Why?
Nothing to do with it.
Okay.
So, I want to understand, you want me to vote for it, I want to understand it.
Okay, so that's the discussion. Any other discussion? No further discussion. We're voting on the second amendment to the resolution, which is removing the interaction with town and or county schools, parks, and programs. So the motion was made and seconded. All for approving the second amendment, raise your hand or say aye. All opposed?
Makes no sense.
Abstentions? That amendment fails.
Part of getting things done, that is.
So now we're going to take a vote on the amendment on the resolution as amended with the first amendment. So all those in favor of passing the resolution with the standing amendment, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Richie and Brian?
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Brian?
He said aye.
Okay, the motion carries. Mary, did you get everyone's vote recorded?
Yes, thank you.
Great, thank you. The next and final one is the establishment of the senior committee, AR number 26. Justin.
I make a motion to adopt administrative resolution number 9, establishment of the SPA committee.
26. We're on 26 for the senior.
46.
26 for the senior.
Seniors committee. Establishment of the, I make a motion to adopt administrative resolution number 26, the establishment of the seniors committee, whereas the verbiage is the same with the duties. The verbiage is the same as the prior,
1 through 5.
with the duties changing. The primary responsibility of the seniors committee is to advise the board in matters of programs relevant to senior members of the community, assisting management and the board preparing senior citizen social programs, assisting management and the board preparing retiree social programs, assisting management and the board in assessing senior citizens' transportation needs and developing programs to address such needs, assisting management and the board in enabling the committee members to create a network to provide social and emotional support for the senior residents of the community.
There's one more on the next page.
The committee shall perform such other functions and take such other responsibilities as may be directed or approved by the board. If that's the same verbiage as I said 5, assisting management of the board, enabling the committee members to create a network to provide social and emotional support for the senior residents of the community.
So the motion was made, is there a second? The motion was made and second, is there a discussion?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Miller.
Yes, I want to offer the same amendment. I make a motion to add, furnish the board and management a proposed calendar to the extent known for the year by the January board meeting.
Okay, so that's an amendment to add the same verbiage as before about requirement for the January board meeting to supply a preliminary, I'm sorry, that's okay, but it's the same verbiage, the same proposed calendar to supply the board by the first January meeting. So the motion to amend, is there a second? There's no second. So the motion was made second to amend required calendar from the committee. All those in favor of amending it, raise your hand and say aye. Ron and Justin, I don't know, but it carries. Okay, so the amendment carries. We'll vote on the motion as amended. Now on the AR resolution, the motion was made and seconded for the amendment. Now we're going to make a motion to pass the amended AR with the addition of the calendar. All those in favor of the amended AR resolution, raise your hand and say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstention? The motion carries. That was the final committee AR for tonight. Next on the agenda is new business. Items 5.1 through 5.6 are ratifying email or votes taken in the working session. Justin?
There's a ratification of a prior vote, LED light upgrades, motion to authorize staff to purchase LED lights from Continental Corp. for $19,159.65. The new LED lights will be installed in the spa hallway and spa lounge. Spa lights are included. Indoor pool, security office, wires and dimmers as necessary.
There's a motion. Is there a second? The motion is made and seconded. And all those, is there any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries. Brian is abstaining. 5.2, I'm sorry.
Make a motion to ratify.
I'm sorry, Justin. What was that?
Isn't it that when you ratify, you have to say who voted what?
She's taking account of how we all voted.
No, how we voted before.
We're ratifying that with a vote. You could change your vote if you wanted to.
I know, but you are not reading what, who voted for what.
We never have before. I don't know, we never have done.
Because we are ratifying.
Correct, but we've never said what the vote was previously. We just took a vote to ratify every other time. So, yes, Justin.
Make a motion to ratify a prior vote for engineering specifications, drawings, and bid documents for excavation and waterproofing of the planter above the mall entrance. Motion to award a contract for engineering services to Merit Engineering to produce engineering specifications, drawings, and bid documents for excavation and waterproofing of the mall planter, or of the fee of $11,000 plus reimbursable expenses. The work will be billed in 3 stages. Specification drawings and bidding documents, bidding, project administration, and construction monitoring. The scope of work is included in the contract agreement, and additional repairs and waterproofing of the berm, wall flashing, and mini parks skylight.
The motion was made. Is there a second?
Second.
The motion is made and seconded to ratify the vote for the engineering evaluation of the planter waterproofing of the berm areas. Is there any discussion? Yes, Richard Mellon.
So this is to get specifications, so we, after the specifications, we will have then an approximate price.
We will have what we usually get, which is the engineer's report, and then it will go out for bid. And then we'll know the price. He will give us an estimate like they usually do.
Okay.
My experience here is some are okay, some are not that good, but after we have an idea of what it's going to be, then it will go out for bid. This is just the preliminary engineering for all of that, so we can get an idea of where those problems are and how to address them. And then we will address it as a board of which items and how to. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Brian's abstaining. Next is item 5.3, ratify the replacement of the lobby vestibule heaters.
I make a motion to ratify a prior vote for the replacement of the lobby vestibule heaters. Motion to award a contract to EVCO Mechanical to replace 3 vestibule steam heaters, 1 per tower. Contractor will disconnect the existing equipment, install new equipment, provide 3 new thermostats and test all equipment for the total cost of $28,000. There were 4 bids obtained. EVCO was the lowest bidder.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
The motion was made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Richard, no.
As I said last meeting, and as I said in working sessions, I wish that there was a total solution. This is only to provide heat, which is necessary. This is the end of the season now, but we should be working on one solution that provides heat and air conditioning. Because we're going to be back at this table in the summertime because it's so hot and they don't want to stand, doormen don't want to stand there, or they have the doors open. So I think it's a little foolish doing it this way. I wish we had an engineer tell us, I believe that there's a surplus, I know there's a surplus of heat and air conditioning in the lobbies. So, that's up to the board, whether they agree or not. The second thing is, we have to stop, just at the last meeting, we were gonna vote on this under new business. Nobody knew what this proposal was for. And I wish we would do our due diligence a little more instead of just rushing. We got by another month, and you know what? It wasn't as bad as the previous month.
Can I comment on that, please?
When I'm done. When I'm done. Heat is a good thing, but we should be looking for a total solution. The other thing is, I read again twice today, I can't believe 28,000. So, that's $10,000 a lobby for, and that's the cheapest, for installing new radiators, new piping, shut-off valves. It just seems very expensive.
Any other discussion?
Mike, did you want to?
Yeah, I discussed it last month when the directors thought that it wasn't important for the employees to have heat in the lobby. So if he didn't think it was important last month and he doesn't think it's important this month, I can't comment on it. It's not worth my time.
Okay, any other discussion?
I'm just saying, it's good to have heat, but it's
I
not the
call
right
the
solution.
question.
It's not the right solution.
The question has been called.
That's the problem with the board. No discussion or very little discussion. Nobody wanted to, I want the board to, I want them to have heat.
No, you didn't.
We need an overall, so we're gonna be back here in a few months. Oh, it's so hot.
Okay, Richard, but the question has been called, however, anyone who has not had the opportunity to speak has the opportunity to speak before we take the vote. So anyone who has not spoken would like to address.
I would. I just wanted the owners to know that this is just a ratification of a prior vote. This is old news.
Okay, well, the
There was
question
no
was
final
called.
vote until you voted in open session
Richard,
to
I want you
spend
to
money.
speak.
The ratification, that vote was just to get
Richard.
started on. We missed another month.
Richard.
There is no vote, official vote to spend money
Wait,
unless it's
this-
done in
this
open
is the
session.
document.
Just
By state
we're
law.
going again. We're going again, please. Everyone had a chance to speak, please respect it. Everyone had a chance to speak, they were recognized. We called it, the question's been called. Everyone who didn't have a chance to speak has had the opportunity, we're ready for the vote. All those in favor, raise your hand or say aye. All those opposed? Any abstention? Brian Plunkett abstains, the motion carries. Next is 5.4, ratify of the workers' comp and the D&O coverage.
I make a motion to ratify a prior vote, motion to bind the new WC coverage with workers' compensation coverage with the New Jersey manufacturers for the total premium of $91,598 and a broker fee of $9,159. And coverage is effective 12/31/2017 through 12/31/2018. Total cost $91,598.
The motion has been made, is there a second? The motion has been made and second to ratify the vote, is there a discussion? No discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Opposed? Brian Plunkett abstains.
I make a motion to ratify a prior vote for D&O and crime insurance, new coverage and financing. Motion to bind and finance a new D&O and crimes coverage as follows. D&O coverage to be provided by RSUI Identity for an annual premium of $56,190 plus a broker fee for a total of $69,697.04. For the coverage effective 12/31/2017 through 12/31/2018, total to be financed with the U.S. Premium Finance.
The motion was made, is there a second? The motion is made and seconded on the financing program for the WC and the DNO financing.
I want to add to that the crime coverage to be provided by travelers for the annual premium of $4,009 for the coverage effective 12/21/2017 to 12/31/2018 to be a totally included financed by U.S. Premium Finance. The financing will be provided by U.S. Premium Finance in the following terms of a deposit of $13,940.93. Annual interest rate of 3.09%, the terms of 12 months. The broker fee for the workers' compensation coverage will be $9,159 included in the finance agreement with U.S. Premium Finance.
The motion's been made. Is there a second? The motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstention? Brian, abstain. 5.6, ratify exterior wall LED lights and installation.
Motion to ratify a prior vote for exterior wall lights ratification. This motion to purchase 20 exterior accent LED lights, 5-watt cools from Continental Lights for a total of $2,286.38. 20 lights at $105 each, and installing new wiring and lights by DMV Industries at the total cost of $9,000 for the total cost of the project of $11,286.38.
The motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded. Is there a discussion?
Yes.
Yes, Richard.
I vaguely remember this, I don't remember how long ago we discussed this. This is the lights I believe I see on Boulevard East going toward the Versailles. But what about our driveway lights? Is that included in it? Because a lot of them are non-functioning. The ones on the wall in the berm. I care more about the driveway lights on the berm wall than I do care about on Boulevard East. Sidewalk, the town of Guttenberg should put up street lighting. Anyway, I care more about the driveway. Does it include that?
It was in the proposal. What was it?
Why? What was the proposal? Wasn't last week?
It's not. It's been about a month.
Okay, so we just there's so many ratifications and everything. I lost track.
Yes, Joy.
No, the driveway was not included, it's just JFK Boulevard, Richard.
Okay, I think it would be a good idea to look into the driveway.
Make a motion.
The driveway and going up the steps to the mini park, they're either non-existent, just an empty cavity there, so. Okay, it's a
We
good
can
idea.
definitely work on that if the board decides to do so.
Can I make a motion? All right.
You're discussing,
we're
discussing a
discussing-
motion right now. You're discussing a ratification of a motion.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, I really do think that the lights add benefit to the Galaxy. For safety reasons, a lot of people do walk their dogs at night, and the lighting on Boulevard East was non-existent. Also giving it a nice look when you drive past the Galaxy at night. It actually makes you turn your head and actually look at the property. I think it's a great addition to the property.
Is there any further discussion?
Yes, perhaps we should have gone to town of Guttenberg. Oh, it's the
I
town.
call the question.
The question has been called.
You attempt to have a discussion here, and this is what happens. This is what
Follow
I'm
the
dealing with
procedure.
all.
Anyone else who's not had a chance to speak has the right to speak before and after a question is called. So anyone who's not addressed the board has the opportunity to speak. Any other discussion? Yes, sir.
We haven't had an extensive discussion about it, so why don't you let him at least now, he has a discussion, why he has to call the question? Let's have a discussion and hear, because we didn't have extensive one, and it was from a long time ago, so I'd like to hear what he wants to say.
Procedurally, the question was called, so we have to take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Brian, the motion carries.
Make a motion to ratify a prior vote, proposal for structural survey of the indoor pool deck. Motion to hire Merit Engineering of Bayside, New York to perform structural survey of the indoor pool deck for $4,900. The survey will include visual inspections of the top side of the pool deck and underside of the deck structural slab where existing spalling of the concrete and corrosion of reinforcing steel was observed. The scope of the survey will include a report of findings, photographs of construction defects or deteriorating conditions.
Is there a second? Discussion.
How much is the cost? We can't ratify something if we don't have a cost yet. I don't think I heard.
Is the cost of the motion?
$4,900.
Thank you.
Any other questions, discussion? If not, we'll go for the vote. All those in favor of the structural survey of the indoor pool deck, raise your hand and say aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? The motion carries.
I make a motion to ratify a prior vote for a new electric steam boiler. Motion to purchase a new Sussman electric boiler for the men's steam room for the cost of $7,300. The existing unit is completely down.
The motion's been made. Is there a second? The motion's made and second. Is there a discussion? That we'll go for the vote. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Brian, the motion carries.
I make a motion to ratify a prior vote. Motion to award a contract to Clef Concept in the amount of $8,150 to paint all conference rooms, walls, and doors, remove the existing carpet, furnish and install new as specified, stain the existing conference room table, and purchase new office chairs for Wayfair for the total of $2,271.09. 3 bids were received. Clef Concept was $8,150. Precision Painting was $8,400. Town and Country declined to bid.
The motion's been made. Is there a second? The motion's been made and seconded. Discussion? Richard Miller.
How much was the lowest bid?
$8,150.
1,100.
Any further discussion?
Yes.
Call the question.
No, I'm not going for that.
Richard,
Absolutely not.
let you speak. Can you?
I'd like everybody to see who's in the audience remaining
Wait.
at home, what goes on.
Speak, man.
Tell
Can
him
you
to
let me
speak. Stop
speak?
the drama. Come
I'm
on.
just saying,
Can
the
we get some
question
stuff done
can't be
here?
called until discussion is made. So if you'll allow me, I will allow you to
I'll
speak. You have
recognize
not
you.
had,
I will
I will now recognize you to speak.
Thank you.
No one had a chance to speak. You can't call a question unless everyone's had the opportunity to speak. You now have a chance to speak.
Thank you very much.
He
Mr.
did
President.
speak. He asked how much it cost.
Justin, I recognize Richard Miller. He barely got 2 words out. He has the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Mr. President. The problem with this is, while a nice conference room may be nice, it would be nicer to do more for homeowners. That being said, what are you talking about? There's no road because it's coming. The problem with this is, we got an email, I don't remember a discussion on it, with, to redo the conference room, including new chairs, painting the walls, refinishing the table, and new carpet. There was an email vote. What is the purpose of the board? The purpose of the board is to discuss things, not just take an email on something we never, that I remember, even spoke about. And maybe some of my fellow directors can, we didn't hear anything. Anyway, there was no discussion on it, and then it proceeded from there. That's not the right way that the association's business should be done. As another item on this, the chairs that were pictured had arms. We got in chairs that had no arms. Just a small little point. So it wasn't even pictured what we were doing. There wasn't a complete plan of what the conference room would look like. It's not the right way of conducting our business.
Any other discussion?
I also disagree with that because the boardroom is only used by the directors, and sometimes if management meet with some people which manage, our general manager has a very nice office, can meet with anybody that she has to meet in her office rather than the boardroom. So spending 8,000 or something on just refurbishing the boardroom, I don't think it was necessary. And also the purpose of email vote is for urgent matters, not for just something as simple as, refurbishing the boardroom. We needed to discuss that. We didn't have a discussion over that. We had an email vote, and couple of weeks after when I went, I saw that $8,200 has been spent on the chairs that are very uncomfortable to sit on, and I agree with you, Charles. This is not the way that we have to conduct our business.
I concur with the opinion of my two colleagues on the board. I think that although it would be nice for us to do things like that for the board, owners must come first. And our priorities, these little things, 8,000 here, 5,000 there, 15,000 there, start to add up. And we have tens of millions of dollars and things that need to be done in this 40-plus-year-old building. So again, I concur that this should not have been a priority for our expenses.
Is there any other discussion?
Yes, I do. This was discussed in a working session. I think Richard Miller just admitted that he's seen pictures. I believe my own opinion, the Galaxy does have a lot of work. We've spent about $8 million in the last 2 years on capital improvements. We're trying to hire professionals to come in here. I can only speak from what I know, and I know that we didn't have professionals. And you're going to hire a professional, you're going to bring them into a boardroom. Well, we got banks coming in, we have attorneys coming in. We have to look presentable. It's like walking in your front door and having your whole household messed up. How do you think somebody's going to respect your house when they come in and the house is all in shambles? They're not going to respect your house. So when we bring professionals in here, we bring them into the conference room. Well, if they see a nice, clean, freshly painted conference room, that's how we expect to be treated. We want everything to be clean and new. It's only just being professional. That's the difference. Thank you.
Yes, Joe, don't worry.
I'll echo what Justin just said. I think the boardroom is a place where business is conducted, not just board business, but business with management, where they're bringing in contractors. It shows the workmanship that we're willing to accept. When you have duct tape across the entire floor of a boardroom, and you're bringing professionals in to do different jobs around the Galaxy, I think you're identifying the kind of workmanship that's acceptable to you when they walk in the room. It's the first impression. It's where we bring people who come in to interview for a position. It's the first impression that everybody gets of the Galaxy that's going to do business with the Galaxy and the type of work that we accept. I work at NBC, and they go through great lengths to not have anybody see construction. The board, they want these people to understand what they accept as work, and they want to show them that we're top of the line. We expect the best from you, and this is what's acceptable. And I think that by spending a couple $1,000s in the boardroom, may come back to the owner in workmanship and potentially better contracts, because I think it lets management be allowed to be taken seriously when these people come in and they're trying to negotiate with them.
Any other discussion?
Yes.
Yes, Mike.
I mean, it's not as though we're doing a lush boardroom. Richard Miller himself stated the chairs don't even have arms on them. So it's not like there's some dramatic improvement Because by any means, it's a basic meeting place, that's all it is. To make it more than that, it's just, thank you.
Yes.
Just, I want to just say one more time. This is not the way to do the board's business, to take a vote. We have working sessions. It was not discussed.
We
Just send a proposal.
We did discuss it, but go ahead, Joe.
I agree this was discussed. I remember this being a working session as well.
And just for a point of record from now, because things seem to be not remembered or never happened or didn't. So currently we are signing working sessions of who was there and what was discussed because it seems to be common.
It's like kindergarten.
Yeah, because we get here and everybody goes, I don't remember. The vote has been called, the question has been called, now everyone has a chance to speak. We're calling for a
A
vote.
little bit more of a discussion rather than, I'd like to do the room. And then an email
We
pops up.
calling for the vote? That one doesn't work?
Discuss.
So we made the
The
motion.
motion was made and seconded, the question's been called. The vote, we're ready to take the vote. This is to ratify the vote for the conference room. All those in favor, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? One abstention. The motion carries.
Motion to ratify a prior vote on new lobby artwork. Motion to purchase new lobby artwork for each tower purchase not to exceed $4,500.
Is there a second to the motion? The motion's been made and seconded. Is there discussion?
I have some discussion. I'm really very happy on how the lobbies look right now. I was not too keen on the chairs until I realized that the metal bars around the chairs match the banisters, and I believe that the artwork tied everything in really nice for curb appeal. When somebody comes in here, looks to buy a unit, they're walking through the lobby and they see the new artwork with the new plants and the new furniture. It really looks nice.
Any other discussion or comment? All those in favor?
I'm so sorry, I didn't catch the second.
I'm sorry?
It was Joe, okay, thank you.
Joe seconded.
Yes, thank you.
Those in favor, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Richie's in favor.
I'm in favor.
Justin's in favor.
What
is the artwork?
The artwork?
That's the artwork.
$4,500.
Correct.
So the
All those,
the chairs or the art?
the art. This is the prints and the lobby.
Okay, who sold the things? Who asked?
It was at a working session and they were passed around a conference room. It's quite possible, but it was discussed. And there were even comments on
We chose.
specific print.
We saw pictures over there.
We're taking a vote right now, so there was no more discussion. So all those in favor, please again.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Brian abstained. Mary, did you get everyone's
Yes,
vote?
thank you.
Thank you. We're ready for item 6.1.
Commercial auto renewal and payment plan. Make a motion to bind a new commercial auto policy with AM Trust for the total annual premium of $6,700 and coverage effective January 31st, 2018 through January 31st, 2019. The incumbent carrier, AM Trust, offer the renewal with the same terms and conditions. A $395 increase in premium due to the overall New Jersey auto rate increase.
The motion's been made. The auto policy premium, is there a second? The motion was made and seconded. Any discussion? No discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The motion passed. The one, Brian abstains. The motion passed. 6.2, Justin.
1 second. I make a motion to hire Merrick Engineering Consultants to prepare specifications, drawings, and bid documents for restoration of the indoor pool deck for a total of $17,000 plus reimbursable expenses and building department filing fee of $2,550. Phase 1, specifications, drawings, and bidding documents. Phase 2, bidding, project administrative administration and construction monitoring. MEC will assist the owner with obtaining bids from up to 7 qualified contractors, conduct a pre-bid meeting with all bidders, and prepare any agenda as necessary upon the receipt of the bids. We will analyze the bids and tabulate them for the owner's review. Once construction begins, MEC will provide construction monitoring service as necessary to ensure compliance with the plans and specifications. The scope of construction monitoring will include reviews and approvals of shop drawings and submittals by the contractor, inspections of the work in progress, the preparation of field reports, documentation of observations, review of the contractor's applications for payment, and final inspection of the work. Phase 3, filing building permit applications with the building department. MEC will file all appropriate applications and plans for the repairs with the Gothenburg Building Department once the owners select a contractor to obtain approval of building permit.
The motion for the engineering services, bidding in for the pool deck has been made. Is there a second? The motion's been made and second. Is there discussion? No discussion. All those in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carried. Mary, did you get everyone? Brian? He approved.
Motion to more planted berm and mini park skylight waterproofing. Motion to hire Merit Engineering to prepare drawings, specifications, and bidding documents for the excavation and waterproofing of the mall planted berm, waterproofing and repairs of the mini park skylight, and the replacement of the metal flashing at the exterior wall that adjoins the planter. The work will be billed as followed: $15,300 plus reimbursable expenses. The hourly, phase 2 is the hourly rate. Phase 3 is $2,550 plus reimbursable expenses. It includes the previous approval amount of $11,000.
The motion's been made and seconded. Is there a discussion?
Excuse me, could you explain, this is the additional work?
This is this is not work. This is the engineering proposal.
I mean, this is the additional engineering.
Correct, to check the skylight and the exterior wall.
We had 5.2 for the mall planter, so this is the additional we spoke about.
Yes, you already approved $11,000, and this is additional $4,300 for the exterior wall adjacent to the mall. The planter above, which is the berm and skylight waterproofing that we talked about. So that's why instead of $11,000, it's now $15,000 all in total.
$15,300.
Any other questions, discussions? All those in favor of the motion, raise your hand and say aye. Aye. Richie? Aye. Brian? It's unanimous. Next item is 6.4, the engineering proposals for mechanical HVAC equipment and ventilation.
I make a motion to hire Lawless and Mangone architects and engineers to conduct an investigation of the kitchen and bathrooms ventilation system. The engineering service will be billed hourly, not to exceed $15,000. The following scope of work: make site investigation as required to verify existing condition, review building mechanical plans, meet with the building staff to discuss the ventilation system at the apartments, inspect the ventilation of kitchens and bathrooms at selected apartments, inspect and evaluate the performance for exhaust roof fans serving the bathroom and kitchens, perform preliminary ventilation load calculation to ensure the adequacy of the existing fans, perform smell tests at selected apartment kitchens and bathroom vents at different levels of the building, coordinate with camera drop company to inspect selected ventilation shafts, arrange with air balancer to obtain on readings capacities of the existing exhaust fans, coordinate with environmental consultant hired by the building, prepare a report with our findings and recommendations, meet with the board and building manager to discuss the report.
The motion's been made. Is there a second? The motion's been made and seconded to the engineering proposal for the mechanicals for the HVAC equipment. Is there discussion?
Yes.
Yes, Richard.
It says here, meeting with the board and manager. I would like to specifically request that the board have this meeting, because there may be a number of questions after we get get the report. I don't want to go around us. So, because I have a lot of questions that apply to this.
It is in the
Second.
proposal, correct?
Okay, I have one other.
It is in their proposal. I understand. I understand.
One other thing. It says in documents, all reports, notes, drawings, specifications, data calculations, and other documents prepared by Lawless and Mangione shall remain L&M's property. If we're paying for it, why can't it be our property? I'm not envisioning anything would happen.
May I
We're
suggest that you amend the motions that it be subject to my review and comment on the contract form itself?
Oh, it should always have that.
And I can deal with that because that is inappropriate.
Okay. So I'll make the motion
The contract, you're signing it.
to amend the engineering services pending attorney review, specifically the point that I mentioned about the documents belonging to Lawless and Mangione.
Right, so the amendment is to have legal review of the contract before we execute it.
Second.
So the motion to amend was made and seconded. Those in favor of the amendment, raise your hand and say aye. Aye. Brian and Richard, Richie, they'll put that? All right, so Richie abstained. Okay, so he's not changing, so he is voting against the amendment, but it carries. Now we're voting for the amended. He said he doesn't want to make any changes.
So the legal just recommended you do
He's
it.
entitled to
Okay, wait. Let me be clear about what's going on.
Weird thing.
That was, Richard, what was happened was we read the motion, it was amended. The amendment carried, Richie said he didn't want to make any changes, which means he's against the amendment, but the amendment carries. So, as of right now, the motion is with the amendment. So we're voting on the amended motion. All those in favor of the amended motion, raise your, I'm sorry, Richard, you asked to speak before? Okay. All those in favor of the amended motion, raise your hand or say aye. Opposed? Abstentions? I'm sorry, Richie, you opposed? Okay, so then he's not voting for the amended motion. Amended the motion, sorry, so he is opposed to the motion.
Right, and
As
Brian.
it stands. And Brian? Abstained.
Thank you.
So we're moving to item 6.5, transfer of funds from TD Bank to PPAC Gladstone Bank.
I think you missed something.
Microphone.
You missed the,
motion
for
to.
hallway air conditioning.
Yeah, engineering service for hallway air conditioning units replacement, and make a motion to award a contract to Lawless and Mangione Architects and Engineers to prepare plans and specifications to replace the existing hallway air conditioning units in all towers. Phase 1, design document preparation, make a site investigation as required to verify existing conditions, perform cooling and heating load calculation to size the new units, survey the mechanical rooms and roofs for equipment locations, review building mechanical plans, evaluate path for rigging and equipment, prepare plans and specifications for owner's review, bidding and construction. Plans and specifications will cover mechanical, electrical, and structural scope of work for new air conditioning units, new duct work and installation, new pipes and valves, new steam coils and piping, new control system, new recovery system, associated electrical work, associated structural work, submit budget estimate of construction costs. Phase 2 will be bidding process and scope of work for review.
The motion's been made and seconded.
Hold on, the phase 3 would be the construction administration. The engineering services will be billed as follow. Phase 1, $34,500. Phase 2 will be $3,000, and phase 3 will be hourly.
Okay, so the motion was made and seconded. Any further discussion?
Yes. Again, in this one, it should be subject to attorney review, because the same thing is in here from Lawless and Mangione, that it's L&M's property. So that's number one. Number two, some of the items here say the board shall meet with the board to discuss recommendations. I want to make sure that that's done. Now, the other thing, the others directed toward Dorothy, does this include then, since it's HVAC, does it include hallway heat?
It's HVAC units for all the hallways for the lower and higher zones.
Yes,
Some of them have been.
so it includes heat. Okay, I'm just making sure. That's not all, but the lower floors are heated and air conditioned separately, so this only includes above around 16.
Lower and higher zones.
Low end.
I just think it's low, below 16 and above 16. We'll have to define that.
Rooftop units for everything above 16 and lower 16 and lower.
Rooftop is 16 and above, approximately. Yes, so lower is taken care of already.
Only in 2 towers.
2 towers, 2
That's
to
what I
3.
said, the remaining
Okay.
items, yes.
I didn't hear. Now, it also says new recovery system, number 6F. Do you know what that is? Is that the old heat recovery system?
Yes.
Okay, so that's good, because the building was built that way. It was a glycol heat recovery system, because that's how the hallways were to be heated. Right now, if we want heat in the hallways, we have to do it by electric heat, which is very expensive. So this is a very good thing. This project was on my wish list for a number of years. I'm glad we could finally get to it. I'm glad, Dorothy, you were the one that finally got to it. Thank you. Positive. The other thing, so this will help now, because the way the building was built, the hallways have a positive airflow, and then in the apartment vents, it's negative, it pulls the air out. So we're gonna go back to the way the building was built, right? Because right now, there's no airflow.
Richard, they're going to do a full engineering investigation and they're going to recommend a new system. So I can't comment on how and what because they haven't even started and I'm not a mechanical engineer. But the goal is to find the best and the most efficient and much better equipment that you already have to provide the services that you need.
Okay, I just want to comment that once we have air conditioning in the hallways, the elevators will be cooler. Because also, you can't air condition elevator cabs. When the door opens, the cool air comes in. So this is a great project.
It's just a study though, so it's.
I understand, but you can't replace the units without a study.
Correct. Okay,
Making
any other discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Opposed? Abstention? Next is 6.5, transfer fund.
Make a motion to open bank accounts with PPAC, Gladstone Bank, and transfer funds from TD Bank and Banco Popular. One account with TD Bank will remain open.
Is there a second? Motion was made and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
I just want to let the owners know a couple of points behind the reason for the switch. PPAC Bank offers a unique tool where they'll have they work with an agent and there's a sweep account which is basically on guarantee that all funds under the GTCA will be FDIC insured. And the simple tone of the process is that agent works with multiple banks. They take funds in without capping over the 250. They're distributed to multiple banks. We only work with PPAC Bank, but the agreement is because those funds are in all individual banks throughout the country, each one of them is individually FDIC insured. The second piece is that they offered a better interest rate from 0.6 up to 1%. which is gonna, with the current funds that we have, would be an increase of about $20,000 to $25,000 annual interest. And the fees that we have, we save about $3,000 a year because of the volume of work that we do with feedback. There's like a credit, if we have a certain amount of funds in, they'll credit back the fees. So at this point in time, at the level of work we're doing, we would have zero. The credit would cover all the fees, so we would save money in fees, increase money in interest, and we would have all our funds be FDIC insured. We're still keeping the account open with TD Bank because of the cash needs of the Galaxy, where we're strictly doing cash, so it would be a much smaller amount. And TD Bank and Banco Popular, I believe, would basically just go away. We're also going to try to work with this bank to get the electronic payments going instead of cutting checks all the time with the vendors that that'll work with. So hopefully that'll save us in postage and printing and envelopes and things of that nature. And it'll give a little more visibility to the board and the authorizations to release payments.
Any other discussion?
Yes.
Yes, Richard.
Does this include also, Joe, the R&R accounts? Account?
Yes.
Okay. How will this be in banks and CDs?
No. This is it's considered a savings account that, again, you were there when the bank was
Okay,
there.
but I don't remember. Do you mind?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Maybe the homeowners want to know also.
I explained it in the terms that I know how to explain it, and it's considered in my. Tommy's still here. If Tommy thinks he can explain it better from accounting, but correct me if I'm wrong, Tommy.
Simple question.
It's insured funds. The funds are insured.
I agree with Joe's explanation.
Savings account.
So it is a savings account. It's a sweep. You can sweep the funds back. If we're cutting checks, it's only coming out of PPAC. The money, the bank has the ability to work with the agent that they work with in the multiple banks where our funds are going into. PPAC is ultimately responsible for it. Each one of the individual buckets will be FDIC insured because the way the sweep process works is the funds are in a different bank, so it's FDIC insured because of the $250,000 limit.
Okay, and is there a limit how much we can take from the savings?
Not to my knowledge, no. There's no time limit on
In
this
case we
bank.
need to.
If we needed to take everything out, we could take everything out. It may put us in a different interest bucket. It may put us in the fee structure may change if we don't maintain certain balances. But as of now, again, this week, we also went out to Chase Bank. We tried to get TD Bank to see if they would match. So we did our due diligence on this. This is the one bank that we found that would offer these rates, the fee structure, as well as fully FDIC insured in our funds. That has been something that the owners have tasked us with. They've been worried about the funds being in Banco Popular, in TD Bank, all along. Nothing's ever happened to our funds. There's never been a risk to our funds. We've never been concerned at any point in time when we needed to go to the bank where these funds were in trouble. So I'm not saying that, but it gives homeowners, the comfort to know that all of our funds now will be FDIC insured.
Another question. Has legal counsel looked at this proposed agreement and setup?
No, I don't believe that legal did. I don't believe they did when we went to TD Bank. I have no idea if they did with Banco Popular. This is just simply a bank where the money is FDIC.
I understand, but since this is a different concept, I would like to amend it and say pending legal counsel's opinion.
Then you're making.
So the motion was made, now the motion was made to amend it, viewing legal review. Is there a second to the motion to amend the motion? There's no second. The amendment dies. The motion is still on the table. Those in favor of passing the motion as it stands, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Brian, Richie?
Abstain. Abstain.
Abstentions? Miller and Brian? No vote for Brian. The next item, 6.6, the contract agreement for Tyco.
Motion to award a five-year contract with Tyco Integrated Security for monitoring of fire panel, notification to fire and police departments and monitoring of 2 phone lines per tower at an annual contract rate of $804 per tower. Currently, Tyco Integrated Security is on a month-to-month basis.
The motion was made, is there a second?
Second.
The motion was made and seconded, any discussion? Those in favor of the contract agreement with Tyco, raise your hand or say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries, no vote. Brian abstained on that.
Okay.
And Richie voted in favor. Del Puente voted in favor.
Yeah, I missed Mr. Crico's vote on that.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, I didn't hear.
The next item is 6.7, to extend the hourly contract for FSR project manager.
Make a motion to extend the existing contract dated October 25th, 2017 to First Service Residential Project Management for the hallway project punch list. Limited hours will be billed hourly as necessary to complete the sign-off of the project. The services of First Service Residential Project Management billed hourly will be extended until March 2nd, 2018. Services will be billed weekly at the rate of $150 per hour for the assistant manager and $250 an hour for the project manager.
If the motion is made, is there a second? The motion's been made and seconded, is there any discussion? I'll make a quick one on this one, it's going to be super brief, it's super late, but this is just a few more hours for him to come here to do the final walkthrough. He developed the punch list for us already. The punch list was addressed, but we have not had the opportunity to walk the entire project. Management and myself have not been able to do a final walkthrough or sign up on that, so this is just a few more hours to bring him in and do the closeout documents and document everything. That being said, any further with no, is there any other discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carried. If there's no other business.
I have
I have
no
no
business.
business.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, one at a time.
Can I?
Well, there's three.
I want to make a motion. I want to make a motion. Motion is, except in the case of an emergency or when specifically overridden by a majority vote of the board, no matter shall be voted on unless fully presented to the board no less than 2 weeks in advance of the vote.
The motion has been made. I'm sorry, Rich, can you read that one more time because I'm sure Mary didn't get that?
No.
Unless you have it written to give.
No, I don't have it written. I could send it to Mary, but I'll read it one more time. I can send it to you, though.
Yes, thank you.
You want me to read it? Except in the case of an emergency, or when specifically overridden by a majority vote of the board, no matter shall be voted on unless fully presented to the board no less than 2 weeks in advance of the vote.
I second.
Wait, I don't understand that.
Yeah, wait, the motion was made in second, that's okay, now it's open for discussion, so anybody can ask questions or discuss it at this point. Mike?
He wants us to vote on something right now that we cannot vote on anything for 2 weeks for.
This is procedural.
That we haven't discussed.
After this.
Yeah, I motion to table.
So you want to do something you want to do, but I mean, we have something that's.
Because
So the
of what-
motion-
because
the
of
motion
what's
was
been
made
going
and
on, I
seconded.
think it would be not more than right, so the directors can perform the fiduciary responsibility, think about it, and in
Okay,
case
the
they
motion was made and seconded, it's open for discussion. There was a motion made to table the motion. Is there a second on tabling the motion?
Come back within 2 weeks.
If there's no second on tabling,
No, second, Rich.
then the motion was seconded. Sohail seconded the motion. There was a motion to table it,
Motion to
which was
table?
not seconded.
I
Yes.
second.
So there's a motion to table and a second on the motion to table. Those in favor of tabling the motion, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? No to what? Okay, so it's for Brian? So the motion failed. It's a tie vote, so the motion does not carry to table. So we will go to a vote. Those in favor of the motion, raise your hand or say aye. The motion is, but wait, Richard, the motion is for Miller's motion. So those in favor of the motion, vote yes. Aye. Those opposed? The motion fails. Is there any other business?
I
would like to make a motion that the board shall receive a draft of the minutes from the preceding month's open and closed session minutes of the Board of Directors 2 weeks prior to the next open and closed Board of Directors meetings.
So the motion was made that the minutes from the previous meeting will be submitted to the board 2 weeks prior to the open and close for the previous meeting. Is there a second to the motion?
I second.
The motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Yes. I think that is necessary because hopefully that would give enough time to the secretary of the board to read the minutes, that we don't keep tabling the minutes. And also we have enough time to read the minutes.
Is there any other discussion? That being said, we'll take the vote. All those in favor of the motion, raise your hand and say aye. Opposed? 2 opposed, abstain. So the motion carries.
Does carry? Yes.
Joe abstained. I abstained.
Abstain.
Richard Crico abstained. Is there any
I
other?
have some new business. I make a motion to contract legal professional to investigate who is responsible for the anonymous electronic publication known as Galaxy Observer with the email address info@galaxyobserver.com and mailing address 7002 Boulevard, East Dunbarton, New Jersey 07093, and pursue all available legal claims against the individual or individuals responsible for the Galaxy Observer. Legal expense not to exceed $10,000.
The motion was made. Is there a second? The motion was made and second. Any discussion? Is that Justin?
Needless to say, number one, this is the United States of America, and we are entitled to express our opinions. I see no reason to worry what people say if what we stand for is the truth. I believe we need to be as transparent as possible. We should be as honest as possible. We should convey our intentions and work to the ownership. And the ownership will determine whether or not any of these rumors or we perceive them as lies are true or not. But I think this is a form of censorship. It's going to invite counter claims, and we might walk into waters far deeper than we can manage. If the American Civil Liberties gets hold of this, or other attorneys that are for freedom of speech, we're going to end up spending a lot of money because of insecurities of certain people.
Is there any further discussion?
I have.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Justin.
First of all, I think Justin should recuse himself because it's a personal issue that he doesn't like it because of election time. I think he's speaking.
That's your opinion.
Just started speaking about it right at election time.
I'd like to speak on it.
I'm sorry, but he did address that to Justin, so proper.
I'd like to speak on this.
And then Mike, and then
You
Joe. I'm sorry.
This motion was already passed 2 years ago, and before the Galaxy Observer even said a word about me. I made this original motion 2 years ago to protect the Galaxy. I was elected by a majority of the homeowners in the whole Galaxy, not just one tower, of the whole Galaxy. I'm an at-large. And I look at the Galaxy with my own fiduciary responsibility. The Galaxy Observer is an extreme liability to the Galaxy because honestly, it doesn't say one word of truth. There's not one word of truth in the Galaxy Observer except for person's names. The Galaxy Observer is something that goes out to homeowners as a political tool to keep certain people into power. Sitting at this board of directors, if any board of director were to oppose this motion to protect the Galaxy from someone that's writing something that makes it look like it's an official document from the Galaxy, honestly, I would look at that director and say, what do they have to hide? So honestly, if the Galaxy Observer really loved the Galaxy as much as they portray they do, they wouldn't write this stuff anonymously. They wouldn't. They're making the Galaxy out to like be this bad place. They said they're going to put prisons inside the mall. No one ever said anything about a prison inside the mall. It's pure fiction. It's not even.
Ignore it.
It's not even.
Mike, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I mean, listen. It's for the liability of the Galaxy. It has nothing to do with me. I made the original motion 2 years ago before my name was even mentioned.
Mike, yes, he's speaking.
Yeah, no, I agree with Justin. The problem, it goes beyond politics. It truly does. I mean, because the people that do it aren't really that bright. Because what they're doing is they're actually hurting their own value. You have people that read this, you have people that read this on the internet actually. People that read it in blogs. And it makes them not want to come and live here. I remember when I first moved here, I went online and I did some research and I was amazed at what I read. It almost made me not want to live here.
You still came here.
Because I could see beyond some of the imaginations of the people that, are politically motivated. But it did cause a problem for other people that it actually lowers the value of the units that we live in. So you know what? I'm totally for free speech, but there has to be some liability here when they don't take into consideration accuracy and when it personally targets people with lies. I mean, I've had messages tonight on my phone come in from people down in Florida that want to know what is going on up here, that we're bringing in prostitutes and drug dealers into the mall. I mean, and this is what this Galaxy newspaper is doing. So if you think that you want to have this newspaper, I got to look at your credibility as well. That's all I got.
I'm sorry, Joe, who's next? And I specifically said, and Sohaila after that.
I just see the Galaxy Observer as an anonymous email chain that has misinformed owners and twists and doesn't worry about the facts as much as attempting to mislead owners and hurt the reputation of the building. Current board members, if they disagree with them, while at the same time trying to intimidate new or existing owners from getting involved at the Galaxy, as they're concerned that they or their families will be attacked in a similar fashion. I understand the need for anonymity in journalism, but I question the need for it in an email chain for a homeowners association. But when you start attacking people's character and disregarding the facts, when you begin to make accusations, in my opinion, is that you should have the guts to put your name to the email that you're making the accusation, so we know who you're dealing with. I feel without a name, there's zero credibility whatsoever. However, the negative effects on homes are clear. We lose the opportunity of good, smart people running for the board or getting involved out of fear of being attacked in the same fashion. Realtors have confirmed that there's a big negative effect on when potential buyers and investors research the building and find these accusations. Anyone can go out and put anything about anyone on the web, and and not put a name to it. To me, it's cowardly and sad, but a strong group of owners or people at the Galaxy make it the norm. I just ask the owners to keep an open mind and understand that no board is perfect, and you may not always agree with the decisions that are made, but I do believe that most have the right intentions, which is to improve our property and make it a desirable place for everybody to live. So I'm not speaking to you to give credibility to this anonymous source, but in fact to highlight the damage that's being done by a small cowardly group that hide behind a computer and sadly try to hurt people and property values.
That's libel. It's libel as well. It's libel as well.
Talking about lie and politics,
Oh my
when I see that some of our directors, they take credit for the projects that they have never been involved, and even when the involvement was holding the project back for 4 months, and they come and lie to the homeowners and take credit for that project, this is to me lie and politics. Galaxy Observer has bashed me down too, but that is politics. I don't want to spend homeowners' money to go after them in the election time. If we are really concerned about that, let's do it after the election. And let's be honest, it's not only them, the other side are political too. And I believe it's up to the homeowners to listen to both sides, read everything, and make a decision for themselves. We all have to use our critical thinking skills and read between the lines. It doesn't mean, can you be quiet, or every time a female opens her mouth, you can stand another female talks, and you have to say something. Can you stop your sexist remarks or sexist remarks? You see, that is the...
Oh my God, this is the girl that calls everybody a liar. Okay.
So anyway, I think anybody they have to use we all have to read anything that is available to us. We get many information, but it's up to us to use our critical thinking skills, our information literacy skills, and read between the lines and see what is right, what is wrong. Otherwise, everybody lies. It can lie. Everybody can play the politics. It's up to us. We are not stupid. We are not, why should we spend the homeowners' money to go after somebody because it has been addressed a particular director now? 2 months ago, when I ran for the Board of Education, they bashed me down. Did I care? No. Because I'm sure of myself. And I believe that it's up to the readers to make a decision.
That's property values.
There are vicious lies going around saying that I support a loan for the Galaxy. There are vicious lies going around that the people opposing Justin and Richard D. Are for a loan for the Galaxy. These are vicious lies. These are terrible lies. But it goes with the territory because that's what electioneering is about, politics. And people lie. But you got to have a thick skin if you're going to be in the game. And it goes both ways. So both sides say what they want to do to undermine the credibility of each other, and then people have to discern between themselves who's telling the truth and who they support. And we can't censor the opposing side because that's not what America is about.
Joe asked, and then Richie wanted to...
Is it my turn?
Yeah, go ahead, Richie.
It's my turn, okay. Justice has this finger on balance and scales. This is not right. This thing is not right at all.
Can't hear him. He's not here.
Allocated the money to this a couple of years ago, and there's no reason why we can't spend it because that money has been already set aside. And I know that
It's been set
we have a lot
aside.
of trouble with, recall memory over here with everybody here. And I have been reading some, all
big issue with this is, again, it's, this is,
Other people spoke more than once.
just really quick, my point is, this is an anonymous source, this isn't, if you put your name to it, homeowners can go to them and at least have a conversation with them to try to justify their facts. When it's just an anonymous piece of trash that's coming out, homeowners either have to believe it or not, because you don't know who to go to fact check this information, because they don't have the guts to put their name on it. And if they had the guts, I wouldn't have a problem with it as much, because at least then I can search out that person and confront them and ask them to their face. But I know the Galaxy Observers listening have the guts to actually put your name to your stuff. There's a lot of people in this room that I can say I do respect for that they, you know, they put out stuff, but they're willing to put their name to it, and I can respect that.
Richard Bill.
Okay, it's a few points. The first one is addressed to Justin. I believe you're being just a wee bit, well, maybe a lot hypocritical. I believe you said it makes it seem like it's an official document because it's Galaxy Observer. You did say that. You did. What about Team Galaxy? Doesn't that kind of take some kind of Galaxy acceptance of Team Galaxy? So you're being a bit hypocritical. I'll finish it if you want to respond. The other thing, we're spending homeowners' money to go after somebody or some publication. The Galaxy has a rich history of conflict and freedom of speech. No.
Conflict. You nailed it. You nailed the
Yeah,
conflict.
but conflict,
You
no,
nailed it.
that's,
You nailed it.
sometimes that's good. Freedom of speech. We had Galaxy Facts and other publications, and you know what? We survived.
Conflict is good.
Yeah.
Each board, and I remember many boards hated when things were said about them, and members of the board. But, you know, you get past it. And the other thing is, candidates are semi-public officials. It's all about freedom of speech. And who here can be the arbiter of what's truthful and what's not?
Wait, if I could please. This is the original, the original motion was dated August 20th, 2015. The motion passed. The motion for was Delafuente, Drashoff, Kinniger, Kobler, Mack, Plunkett, Purcell, and Sagi. Against was Miller alone. My name was never mentioned in the Galaxy Observer until this recent election.
So what?
You asked me, I'm telling you, why the Galaxy Observer writes in the bottom of its publication, you are receiving this because you're a Galaxy homeowner, which insinuates that that's coming from the Galaxy. Me saying that I'm the Galaxy's A-team is my own personal view of I'm part of the A-team. And my name is Justin Mack, and everything that I write, I sign my name Justin Mack. I stand behind everything that I say. I stand behind I stand behind everything that I say. I stand behind everything I've ever voted for, and I look out for the Galaxy's best interest. And the Galaxy's best interest is not to have someone for a political reason, because at the end of every publication it says who to vote for. It's obviously for political gains. And you voted against it back then, and I'm sure you're going to vote against it now. So honestly, I'd be worried about you, that you don't care about the Galaxy. And what question did I do? Now I call the question.
But I care more about freedom of speech.
Now I call the question.
You're a hypocrite. Justin, you're a hypocrite. Because yet you get away with using Team Galaxy.
I'm sorry, Richard. Please respect. Because so if I like
Because
was
we're having
addressed,
a lively discussion, we're having a good discussion, and he wants to call a question all the time. He's a
So I
hypocrite.
gotta ask
You're the
you,
hypocrite, yes, who's running for election.
You know, in response to Richie that said that I voted for it, yes, I voted for it. But for your information, Richie, there is always a logic behind my decision. It's not that I just vote for anything. The reason that at that time I voted for it there was a blog in another galaxy, and that was about they posted things about the employees, not the directors. I didn't vote. I didn't want to spend homeowners' money because somebody slandered me. When I ran for the board, I knew that this is kind of public figure, and the people, they're going to say whatever they want to say. I wanted to protect the employee, but when I see in the election time, the directors that they themselves, they lie themselves, they want to use the abuse the power that they have, and to go after some, I don't know, it's email or whatever it is, not even a blog, it's an email, which is slandering them, they want to spend homeowners' money, I would say no. That was very different a few years ago when it was about employee, it was a blog, and it wasn't in the election time.
Justin, we've already been informed by council that this motion is no longer, the motion of 2 years ago is no longer valid. So raising the fact that that the motion was already made is misrepresenting the facts, but I'm not surprised at that. Secondly, I think the homeowners in the galaxy are tired of years and years of board members abusing their power and using lawyers for their own political ends. And I think that's exactly what we're doing over here with your motion.
Okay. Can I call the question now, please?
Justin, did you?
I spoke, Mike.
Yes. I mean, there's one thing calling yourself Team Galaxy and campaigning for office. There's another thing in being libelous and creating stories that actually hurt the property value of the people that we were put up here to represent. The irony, the downright irony of this whole ordeal here is that the Galaxy, whatever that trash, Galaxy Observer is attacking one group, okay? The irony here is that the very people that want the Galaxy Observer to continue and be libelous and lower the values of the Galaxy are the people that are trying to object to paying for this. You know, it's like this, if A is B and B equals C, A equals C, because you have 3 board members up here that are presently saying, no, we shouldn't do this, and you know, you have to have thick skin. No, it's libelous. It's libel, and it lowers the value of the units that we are up here to protect. And if you want to go against it for your own damn political agenda, shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Can I say something?
No, this is a board. No, it's not a board.
But I terribly affected
No.
by that, and I do
You're
not
not allowed to address the board.
support the
I'm
Galaxy.
sorry, I'm if you continue.
I don't support
You're
the
not allowed to
Galaxy
address the
Observer.
board. Yes, Richard Best.
You shouldn't speak for me.
Mike, you know, coming from a politician from Hoboken, who knows the game, who knows the political game, and is somebody who supports Justin and Richard D. I think somebody, yes you did, you told me you supported them. Okay, so cut the crap and get real here, because the reality is you support Justin and Richard D. You're going around telling people you're supporting them, and now you're telling us we're wrong? Please, that's the pot calling the kettle black.
You're wrong.
Can I say
Okay,
something?
so if there's no,
I would like to say.
Politics ahead of
Okay,
the
no,
mission.
I'm sorry,
Politics
everyone
ahead of the
had a
mission.
chance to speak.
With your rants
Everyone
and
had a
raves.
chance to speak. Everyone had a chance.
Motion to close.
We have an open motion, we have a second. We're gonna take a vote on the motion. All those in favor of the motion, raise your hand and say aye.
I support the value.
All those opposed?
Intimidating. It's an intimidating.
The motion carries.
I have new business.
Yes.
I make a motion to remove Sohila Kobla as vice president of the GTCA.
Shame on you to put job like
It'll be in the records of who voted for and who voted against. It's a public record. There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? The motion was made. There's no second. The motion dies.
I made a motion to remove Sohila Kobla as vice president of the GTCA.
I'll second it.
So there was a motion and a second.
Any reason?
I need to, yeah, I don't know the process on this, so John, that would be a question for you.
Board is free to do that at any time on its own.
I'll make a motion to table it.
Okay, so the motion was made and seconded. The motion's been made to table. Is there a second on the motion to table? The motion has been made to table. The vote now is whether to table the motion or not. Those in favor of tabling the motion, raise your hand and say aye. Those opposed?
Motion table.
Wait, I'm sorry, let's be clear of what we're voting for. We're gonna back up, where everyone's saying. The motion right now is to table the motion to remove Sohila as vice president. Those in favor, raise your hand or say aye. To table.
To table.
To table. It's, those opposed to tabling the motion?
Aye.
We're voting on whether we're tabling the motion to remove Sohila or not. Those abstaining? What was the vote, Mary? Because I'm not sure.
Okay, I have,
We're doing it next month.
Mr. Miller, Mr. Vasquez, for tabling.
And so,
And so, yeah. And then Mr. Mack, Mr. Purcell, Mr. Rico, no. Mr. Weston abstained, and I did not
Well, it's Richie's
hear.
vote.
I didn't,
Richie voted not to table.
not to table. Okay.
Brian?
Can't
And
hear.
Brian? Okay, that motion carried already.
There's a motion on the table to remove Sohila as vice president, and now it's been motioned to table.
He abstained from that motion. So what is the count?
So then they have, Mr. Crico, Mr. Purcell, Mr. Mack, not to table.
And Richard.
Richard, not,
So then it's
Not to
not,
table,
so then
right.
the motion to table does not carry.
does not carry.
So we go to a vote.
We got discussion on the.
Correct. There's open discussion now on the motion.
If anybody is watching this disgraceful action of removing the only woman on the board, simply because she disagrees with these individuals, and look very carefully at these individuals. Justin Mack, who's running for election, made the motion. Joe Purcell supported it. Richard D. supported it. Removing the only woman that we have on the board. For what reason? Simply because she disagrees with them. The other day they tried to remove me from the board. If this is what's done to directors, I look at the owners and I tell them, what can they expect will happen to them if they disagree with this management and this board? If this is what you want, if you want a board that comes against you and tries to destroy you, remove you, simply because you disagree with them, comes at you with legal force, is this what you want? Because it's going to be a very scary place to be if you want to live here.
I'm not surprised this is not their first time that they targeted either the directors or the homeowners. I have heard even in the board meetings, I have heard that Justin comes and accuses the homeowners. And when I go and ask them, I see that they haven't done that, or so this is not that, surprises me. And I don't want to say anything. I don't have anything, to regret. I have really worked hard for Galaxy, and I leave it to the board to make a judgment.
Wait, may I speak?
Everyone's open for discussion.
So Hila, believe it or not, this is nothing personal against you. I'm gonna be honest with you, listen, you guys can laugh all you want. So Hila, I know it's very hard to be on the board of directors, it's not an easy task. I appreciate you being on the board and your views, even though we haven't seen eye to eye on a lot of things. This is purely a business motion and representing the GTCA, knowing what I know, what most of the homeowners don't know, about how you have treated employees in this and made it a hostile work environment. Looking
No
to,
need to go into that.
I know that, I didn't want to. I really didn't want to, but now I feel as though I have to because I'm being attacked. I'm being attacked. So, honestly, I don't really want to get into this in a public setting. I tried to do this in closed session. So what I'm trying to do is mitigate a liability to the GTCA. I don't feel comfortable as Sohila being vice president, just because of the one reason, if something would have happened to Wade, she'd automatically take the role as president, and I don't feel comfortable knowing what I do know, what a lot of homeowners don't. There's a lot of things that went on that the homeowners don't know that happened, that the whole board does know. So that's the reason why I asked to remove her as vice president.
I just want, all the accusation that you are making, I would like to have a documentation to support that, because this is serious, accusation that you are making. And I want the document, and I want to consult with the council, and then take it from there.
The question has been called, except that not everyone has got to speak. You haven't spoken.
Doing this.
My hand is up,
Richard
the only
Miller.
question was, everybody's seen you stand up and yell at me.
Richard Miller has not had a chance to speak. He is open
My hand was
to,
up before the motion was called.
Can I have the mic?
it's a procedural. It's a
My hand was
procedural
already up.
question.
You're supposed to.
Spoke already.
Procedurally, when the question is called, John, what is the procedure?
Procedure is to take a vote.
Unless
Not
someone has
until
not had a
everybody
chance
has
to
spoken.
address. So Richard Miller has not had a chance to speak.
It's no secret that Sohila and I didn't always get along, but she adds a lot of value to the board, especially being the only female voice on the board, and I enjoy hearing her point of view on things. It's particularly vindictive, and at this time, when there's 1 month until election, and to do such a thing, just to be vindictive to her. There's going to be a vote for new officers after the election, sometime in March. You don't want to re-elect Sohila? Don't re-elect her. But there's not sufficient cause to do it. That's all I have to say.
Anyone else who has not had a chance to speak, as a question has been called now. So we will go for the vote. All those in favor, raise your hand or say aye. All those opposed? I'm sorry, Brian?
Richie, I can't hear him.
All those opposed? Richard, you've already voted opposed. I got it. We got 4. Now we're going abstentions. Brian abstains, Joe abstains, and I abstain. It doesn't carry, there's not a majority, it's a tie. It's 3-3.
I have one more new business.
Yes.
I make a motion for the GTCA to do a full forensic audit on all the financials going back as far as we can and see exactly what has happened in the past to try to figure out better to do for the future. I think it's a big part of doing a CNA. We want to know a strategic plan going forward, but after being on the board for 2.5 years and seeing what we've done with a lot less money and having money in the bank and doing projects, I don't know if where some of the money went, but it's a blatantly obvious that something went wrong. I make a motion to do a full forensic audit.
The motion has been made, is there a second? The motion's been made and seconded, it's open for discussion.
Why spend the money on a full forensic audit? Do you know how much money that is? Do you have any idea how much money that is? We can spend the money. You won't spend money because the board wouldn't vote to have a critical needs assessment, reserve study.
We never voted for that. We never voted for that.
Justin, Miller is recognized.
It's not necessary. You don't know where the money went? You know how much money we spent paying off loans, taking a loan? We borrowed $19.9 million. We spent over $30 million. That's where money went to. Projects cost 3 times what they were originally supposed to cost. That's where the money went to. I say we should move forward, decide what criteria we need for CNA, have the proper reserve study, and move forward. Because with all this, there's absolutely no discussion on our crumbling garage. No discussion at all. It seems like the board doesn't even want to go there. It just doesn't happen overnight. We have to have new specs, new bidding, so we can spend our time on a lot of other things.
I'd like to speak on my motion.
I'm sorry, but, Sohaila and Vasquez have both, Richard.
This is another example of shooting from the hip. Do you have any idea how much it's going to cost? At one point we were going to do that, and when we looked at the cost, we decided not to. But because you just sit there and, for no reason you are getting vindictive, God knows what is going on in your mind, you make a motion to go and do forensic audit. We haven't even done CNA yet, and you were against doing the CNA. So let's do the CNA, and then after that, we're going to do some research, we're going to find out how much it's going to cost, then we are going to vote on it. Not just shooting from the hip.
I have a master's degree in National Urban Fellow, I'm an MLK scholar, and I have never seen a less educated approach to problem solving than this guy over here to my right, Justin Mack. Justin's knee-jerk reactions. How do you ask for a forensic audit without having a clue as to what the scope is, how much it's going to cost the owners, how long is it going to take? And also, in light of a new election coming up, don't you think that whoever is going to come into those roles as the new directors are going to want to have a participation in making this tremendously complex decision? And you're going to make a decision based on what? Why would you even say that without a clue as to what is involved? Nothing. And this is the kind of leadership that you're portraying. Anybody who would go for this guy to be a director again after what you just saw, I'm not talking to you. Anyone
I'm sorry.
and I'm saying this officially, this is what you have, and this is the kind of leadership that we have now. So you have an important decision to make in the next election. Do you want somebody that's going to...
I think I can...
Taking campaign of someone else's time. We got business to do.
You guys, come on.
Really?
There's something else though.
Really?
Compensation
How many
over
people
there.
did this woman get fired that worked there?
Mike.
How many?
How much proof do you have? How much evidence was presented?
I've seen it.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
Disgusting.
I make a motion.
Disgusting.
I've
Disgusting.
been speaking
How
on
many speeding tickets? How many speeding tickets? How many speeding tickets?
I was told.
Anyway, this is what you have now. We change. I made the motion. I didn't get to speak on it.
I called the question.
The question has been called.
I didn't get to speak on it.
Everyone who has spoken.
No, I made the motion, I get to speak on it. Everybody else spoke. Yeah, I made the motion, that's right, but I didn't get to speak on it, everybody else did.
This is a board conversation.
Speak on the motion and then we'll call the question, or we'll table it. I really, listen. When I first ran for the board, everybody told me that you need to do a full forensic audit. You know what? Honestly, I didn't want to go dig up the past, and I didn't want to say who did this, who did that. I didn't want to get any homeowners in trouble or anything like that. But doing a full forensic audit, not only, I mean, listen, was the board of directors corrupt in the past? I have no idea. Did management fail horribly? I don't know. But a full forensic audit will put to bed once and for all what actually happened in the past, and so we'd have a better understanding going to the future. So, you guys want to table it? I tried to talk about it in the agenda. It was an agenda item. I sent it to you. I asked you to put it onto the agenda. But unfortunately, that meeting was a 3-hour legal session with this man right here, because he's breaking the Director Code of Ethics. And that's exactly...
According to him.
You don't have a code of ethics anymore.
Please, this is not an open
This is exactly what happened. I wanted to talk about it in this session. So you guys don't want a full forensic audit? Obviously you guys don't, but if we did a full forensic audit, I'd be the first one to put all my financials out there. Anybody could look at my own personal financials. I'd be the first one to hand in my... Yeah, I'd be the first one to give you my full financials. I got nothing to hide. I've done the best that I can. This might be my last motion, and if you guys want to table it, you guys can table it.
Okay, wait, please, go ahead. The motion has been made. There's a motion on the floor to table the motion. It's been seconded. We're going to the vote. Okay. Are all those in favor of tabling the motion, raise your hand or say aye. Opposed? The motion is tabled. Can we? The
Motion to adjourn.
The motion's been made to adjourn. Is there a second? The motion's been made and seconded. Can all those in favor say aye. Opposed? You can stay here by yourself.